Testing.
You'd be doing yourself a disservice to pay it off early, honestly. Like, you really would.
And anything below 8, you should be really pay off early.
No, you're not really, because you get scared by it because they have escrow and shit worked into your payments. So then you're like, and your taxes and everything.
Escrow is like the Dow Jones, where I'm just like, I that's an adult word. I don't know what that means.
Escrow is basically what they hold out to pay your taxes every year.
Oh, okay.
For you. So that's all work. That's all factored in.
I'll learn about that once I'm a homeowner myself. But
you should buy the house across the street from me.
I want to buy grandma's house, dude. I'm fucking telling you. I want grandma's house.
You think
Go through.
I have very
I
low.
got an echo.
Okay, hold on.
I got an echo too.
How about now?
Now I can't hear myself. Can you hear me?
You should be able to hear you.
I can't hear me.
Oh, I can't hear you. Now try.
Now try.
Now can you hear me?
Yeah.
Now.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Ooh.
Uh-oh, there's Bruno.
Make sure the hey Bruno.
Hey,
What's
Rick.
up, guys?
How are you?
We're just about to start here for
Nice to officially meet you.
you.
Nice. I mean, I can't see you yet, but nice to officially meet you as well. There you go.
I'm gonna get in. I'll get into frame. Damn it.
So I have a quick question. You guys are siblings?
Chris and I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. That makes sense now.
He's Beard and I's little brother.
Yeah. I'm the youngest of the three.
Oh, gotcha.
Almost
and
the youngest.
some would say the handsomest.
It's actually. I'm the pretty one.
What's funny is that
He's got the biggest dong, and Rick's got the best voice.
Yeah, actually, that's pretty fair.
That's how it
That's a fair assessment.
You guys took polls over this?
we measured polls over this.
Yeah, we took polls over our polls.
It was a poll. We're not actually on yet.
Well, yeah, we're live.
My
Are
kids
we?
are listening. Shit.
Oh my God, we're live. That's hilarious. I did not think we were live. That's hilarious.
That's
Well,
fantastic.
Anyway.
I stand
Even
by
better.
both the prettiest.
No one's watching yet, right?
My claim as well.
12 pounds.
We've got 3 in the chat room. How are everybody's levels? Like, do a quick laugh for me, Bruno.
Ha 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 ha.
A little bit of a.
The
1,
last
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
That's a little cleaner.
All right.
Can you hear me chewing? That's the real question.
Every time.
My daughter always forgets 10. She never remembers 10.
There was some real disdain in
Just
your
counts
eyes
to 9.
there, Ward.
She's 9, 11.
No, I just know how it
12,
is for
13,
podcast
14.
listeners to
Peekaboo.
hate on podcasters for eating on mic.
Oh, I know.
I don't
That's
really care.
kind of one of the reasons why I do it.
I don't know if the girls
I
are
know
watching.
because I look at you, you
obnoxious.
almost look almost impassioned about it.
It's
You're like,
obnoxious.
I'm gonna.
But I also, Jenny, yes, we are, Jenny. I'm not sure why, but yeah.
We ended up, we were just. Bruno was asking about the brothers, and I'm the prettiest and smartest, and Rick has the best voice and beard growth potential, I think.
Yeah, hands down.
Oh, Amy's here. She's the youngest of us.
She just
for
texted
real.
me.
Dude,
I do not
always
understand.
wishing us well.
Ron is the youngest brother.
I do
but
not
Amy is the
understand
youngest
how
overall.
this little kid has so much hair. Like, I wish Rick were here so I could make jokes about how the fact that his newborn nephew that's 2 months old has more hair than he's had in like the last 20 years. But
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start cue the music.
yeah,
Oh, there we go.
fire it up.
And we'll get rolling. I don't have any. Like, we'll just have to call out what we're gonna talk about, or just I'll
we'll
add
get
it
there.
in post.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
But-
yeah.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah.
We're going!
All
We're
right.
going now!
All right, here we go.
Anyway,
It's the Time Spent Poorly show. I'm your host, Edwardo. To my left is Hudds Magruder and real Ron Warner, or old Hudds himself, and brother Ron. Our special guest this evening is Bruno, friend of the show. Bruno, he's been a friend of the show for a long, long time. Tonight we're going to talk about a couple of my new brews, a eBay adventure I had, and what's going on with that. We've got Ron's got some questions for Bruno about his work and also about like the COVID implications. I got a question about Tom Cruise's blow up and anything Bruno might have to add about that. I'd like to ask him about. So, Cobra Kai season 3. We've got all sorts of we're all being liked. All our tweets are being liked by Courtney Hengelar,
which is pretty cool.
Which is
That's
really
Daniel's
cool.
Wife on the show.
The best part of the show.
We geek out over stuff like that, whereas Bruno like sits and talks to John Krasinski on set.
Yeah.
That's not exactly how it goes.
All right,
we're
and
fanboys, damn it.
we've got Wonder Woman 84. We're wondering what they were thinking when they decided to make that movie. We're going to talk about the upcoming movie, The Little Things, starring Denzel Washington,
Jared Leto.
30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah,
This is Jared Leto and Rami Malek. And some other Oscar talk. We're going to talk some political news, and I think that's about it. We'll just kind of get into it. What do you guys say?
Let's go.
Yeah, let's do
All right.
this.
Let's do this live.
All right, hold on. Let me get this.
I need to finish my coffee
down
so I
and
can try your
Bruno
new beer.
up. Hey, Bruno, thanks for joining us. We got
Welcome.
welcome
Glad
back
to be here. Glad to be here, guys.
that you're here.
Our oldest and dearest.
This is actually another fun fact about this episode. Is it's the first episode of the new season, first episode of 2021.
Yeah.
All right.
21.
And Bruno,
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, you as well.
you as well, sir.
Do you?
It's already thrown 2020 over a barrel
Yeah, hard, man.
and made it squeal like a
What
little
was
pig.
what was someone's meme? It's like 2021 so far is just like 2020 with bangs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
I like that. With the He-Man haircut.
My girlfriend and I were discussing in a car ride the other day about the importance or the actual severity of New Year's resolutions. Where do you guys stand? Did you make one?
No.
No.
I-
Lord?
I always, we talked the last show about my hate for not hate, but just my like general resistance
Disdain.
to holidays and
Yeah.
stuff like that because it's just too cyclical. But I find myself every New Year's doing the same like, well, it's time for New Year, new me kind of attitude, and I'm like, you probably saw the elliptical box out on the driveway coming in.
Yeah.
That was a good deal at Costco though. But I bought another elliptical, but
That's a
it's
hell of a
inside the house.
justification there, sir.
Yeah, I saw through the window your son was using it. So
Yeah.
at least it's not going to waste.
He's used it more than me at this point. He was watching Dateline and
In
doing.
support of the elliptical, I took 4 minutes off my 2 mile in 6 months with it.
I've
It's
used.
a fantastic.
I've had
piece
great
of
success
equipment.
with ellipticals. I've lost tons of weight
I've never
when
used one.
when I have a regimented schedule to it, and I'm
Mhm.
just like I follow through on it. Then I do really well. But it's like it doesn't really matter when I decide to start because like the last time I started like exercising to get healthy was in August or September of 2016 was the like my last big like go at it before I kind of dropped off and faded again. And it was after coming off of vacation. We went to Disneyland, and so we got all the pictures back. I'm like, oh, all these are unflattering.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were going to mention all the walking around being like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that
Oh,
anymore.
I chafed. I chafed bad. I had to waddle like 2 blocks down to the
Shit.
CVS to find like the
Everyone chafes
the
after Splash
chafing.
Mountain.
Well,
It-
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
everyone.
we had to get the jock itch, basically the
Ugh.
white powdery shit that you spray.
Oh yeah.
What about you, Bruno? New Year's
Resolutions?
resolutions? Yes, no?
I'm not.
Yeah.
Look, I'm one of those like motivational type guys. Why wait for the new year? Tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow can be your new year. Just start tomorrow. Why wait for the new year?
I
There's a
agree with you.
midnight
I don't
every
think there's
day.
anything wrong with that.
God damn. That belongs on like a t-shirt or something. Man. Like, that was motivational. You're not joking.
Put it on one of your shirts, man.
I might have to.
You
might
guys
have-
have, you
New
guys
day,
have some
new you.
motivational stuff on
We
some-
do. Yeah.
that are kind of in that similar vein.
I mean, the brand is a little bit around, be you, be who you want to be,
Right.
just be active, do your thing, go for it.
I feel like that belongs on one of those posters that you'd see in an office of like an eagle swooping down to get a fish out of the motivation. Every tomorrow be your new year.
I have a poster on the door to this room, and it says "Get shit done." That's it.
Nice.
Is there a big pile of dew on there, or like the emoji poop?
No.
Just get
Just
shit
black
done.
background.
Just get shit done. Just be proactive. Be doing work and moving forward, man.
I like it.
That's it.
I struggled with that for a really long time, actually.
My mother-in-law got me a sign this year for Christmas that says, "My sense of humor hurts people's feelings, or might hurt your feelings," something along those lines.
Good. All right, time to try this.
So,
This new beer.
we had today. We have an Irish ale. Well, we actually have two new beers. There's one on tap on my little mini 1 gallon
Dude,
cake.
I wish I was trying this. That would have been awesome.
We're gonna have to connect sometime. One of these times when you do one of your trips and you have a window of time.
Oh, I'm coming by.
You
I'm
should
coming by for sure.
When Tommy Lee Jones does the Hunted 2,
Yeah.
he'll be nearby. You can drop in.
Well, Bruno's done a couple road trips, like motorcycle road trips.
Yeah.
Right? Was this last one that you did motorcycle, or have you done that yet?
It was. Yeah, no, I did. In October, I went from I flew to LA from Jersey, and then from LA we did a bike trip out to Utah, and then from Utah down to Arizona and back to LA. It was a short one. It was only like 7 to 9 days, 10 days.
It's
a good time
though. Country though.
Incredible.
Arizona, amazing.
Yeah, we did down southern Utah, Arizona, down in the Monument Valley area 2 summers ago, and loved it. It was a fun trip. For the longest we've ever taken my camper anywhere.
You took a camper?
I mean, it's
yeah.
Oh, damn, man!
Broke all.
It's incredible. You know, when you think of the United States, most people think of the big cities because that's what we're known for primarily. But I mean, this country is incredibly beautiful.
Yeah,
it really is, and so varied. Hi, Mara.
Yeah.
There's really you could really spend your whole life just seeing places in your own country. I know, and I want to travel, like to go overseas and go to Italy and stuff, but we really don't have to. There's plenty to see here.
I was having a conversation with Matthew about that actually here not too long ago. He was asking about wanting to go to Europe, and I was like, yeah, I believe me, I would like to go to Europe at some point.
Check USA off the map.
There is so much of this country that I still have yet to see.
Yeah,
I want to go back to New York. I want to take the kids with me to New York because I think they would love it. Like
the only thing you travel the country for the beauty. You travel internationally for the culture, I think. Don't get me wrong. There's some obviously beauty in other countries also, but just experiencing these cultures and just seeing how other people live and what they're used to and their customs is pretty incredible as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Most of the United States is just nonsense culture. I hate to say it because I love it here, but our culture is so bankrupt for the most part.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is the culture is a mix of a lot of cultures, so it gets a little murky.
And you get some of it that's incredible.
It just all turns into this very nondescript, boring, beigey kind of bullshit, uninteresting.
Well, and I think
white girls in Indian costumes.
Yeah, man.
I think it's been overwhelmed.
And black guys in cowboy hats.
By the America culture that we're trying to shove.
Yeah.
Guns and guitars.
It doesn't even have anything to do with like a political standing, but I really feel like the last 4 to 8 years, maybe it has so much to do with the prominence of social media and that.
Yeah.
But
it does not resonate with me.
No, man.
And I like all the things that it's
so much
about, but I don't like the
cheeseburgers and apple pie and corn. Like I love that shit, but
I fucking hate baseball.
But I don't need American flag. I don't need American flag pants.
Underpants?
No.
Well, maybe underpants. Just so I can drop traffic.
Or a shirt with a giant eagle across the chest.
And I don't need Facebook posts where people talk about, oh, I guess I'm just the empty friend that nobody really wants to hang out with. And it's like, fuck you.
I almost
you morally bankrupt trash
almost
bag
made
whore.
Facebook.
I don't need your friendship.
If you're that desperate for attention that you're making those kind of posts on Facebook, like you should be talking to a therapist, not your Facebook news feed. God damn.
No, because everybody's projecting their best life. They're not living it. They're just projecting it.
Yeah. You know,
Pretty much.
I had somebody call me out
And then
on that,
murdering
actually.
their wife.
They tried to say that was because if you look at my Facebook, for one, I do have the background in all the social media work where, you know, I was kind of trained on a lot of things to say and not say, you know, on social media and whatnot.
Right.
But I had somebody call me out and say that I used my social media, like my Facebook, as like a sham to present my life as this like happy picture perfect.
But if
thing.
you're going to
And
do anything like that, that should be what you're doing on social media.
Yeah.
Because
Because
you don't want to
otherwise,
spread your bullshit like fucking sour cream on everybody else.
right.
I mean, ask anybody that is remotely involved in my life that is, you know, makes regular appearances on my social media. What's so fucking wrong with just being happy all the time?
I agree.
Like, really, why is that such a problem? And why is it so sad to think that it has to be forced? Ask my kids. My kids are happy as fuck. I don't post pictures of Annabelle doing all of her goofy, cute shit because I want people to think that I have the perfect daughter. I post that shit because I have the perfect daughter. She's fucking amazing.
Well, I would have said that, but then my daughter cut like her part of her. She tried. I don't know.
God, I thought that was going to.
She tried to give herself bangs last night.
Oh,
no way.
Cut down to like that far.
That's such a normal kid move.
She's done it once before already, though. That's the problem. It's like you didn't learn the first time.
Of course not. What isn't she like 7 or 8?
She's 7.
Did I talk about this?
They're still fucking stupid.
Previously,
and then you ask her why she did. I don't know.
I'm totally Matthew. I know you're watching, and I love you, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to push you right in front of this. Yeah, see, there he is. He's even chiming in himself. He's happy.
I'm fucking happy, Dad.
Yeah, I'm fucking happy, Dad. Him and Annabelle watching me.
Also, Andrew K., I want your pants to scream
I want
freedom
your pants
too.
to scream freedom, Andrew.
That was a genius comment right there.
As like just laying around the house watching football on a Sunday, I would wear American flag PJ pants. I don't give a shit.
Like the dude in.
But
I'll wear whatever laying
Matthew-
around the house, but I'm not wearing it in public.
Matthew was like 8 or 9,
Mhm.
and again, and a boy. Normally, when you see kids cutting their own hair, it's always girls.
Cameron did it too when he was like 4.
I cut my own hair today.
He needed, well, yeah, he needed a haircut, and I wasn't getting him to the barber fast enough for his liking. And he has this really, really nasty cowlick in the front that just does not fucking work for anything. And so he just took his bang portion of his hair and just cut it. So he had this like poof of hair here, and then this all butted up really short in the front.
At a kid. At a kid.
I admittedly, if you looked at him from the front, you wouldn't notice it. But then I was sitting in the living room with him like the next day, and he was sitting on the couch next to me, and we were watching TV. And I turned and I looked over at him, and it's like the front of his head was like a slope. And I was like, "Did you cut your hair?" And he goes, "Yeah."
Oh man,
it was fucking great.
The shame.
Yeah, he was. It was. I would have liked.
I think we've all done it.
I would have liked his face when he did it, just to see the regret wash over him. Of like,
that's what it is.
Oh fuck!
Oh shit moment.
Yeah.
Hashtag lesson
Because
learned.
I've done that when I'm like trimming my beard or something, and I go up too far, and then it's like, oh, now the beard has to go, and you get that like, oh god damn it look on your face. But
yeah, I'm super lucky because I spent 15, 16 years with my head completely shaved,
like bald.
Yeah. And so if I mess up when I'm cutting my hair, like once a month now, I just pig shave it, and I'm like, well, time to start over.
Yeah.
Well, that's the beauty of hair; it'll grow back.
Right? Yeah, I used to tell my ex-wife that all the time because I would just do weird shit with my beard. Yeah. Like one day I would just like, okay, I'm gonna get rid of the mustache and trim it down, and I'm gonna have an Abe Lincoln beard for the night. and I'll get rid of it in the morning because there's no way I'm going out in public with that shit. Or, trim it down and have the big pirate stash with the the long goatee thing in the bottom. I would do it all, and she would always get super pissed. Like she took it personally because she really liked my beard, and it's like it's back in a week. Calm down.
Bitches go crazy over facial hair.
They really do.
If you do something weird with it, it's like the end of the world. Ward shaved for the first time since I've been doing the show.
Yeah.
He looks like he's 20 again.
He looks significantly
and he's
younger.
41, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks 20 again. Like when I first met him is how he looks now.
Yeah, my wife's like, you look like a little baby face.
Awesome. He took 20 years off himself.
It really does. Facial hair definitely makes a difference.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I look about 14 if I shave my face. So I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, but I don't like how I look without facial hair anymore. I look young and wrong.
I love you too, Aim.
Love you, Amy. Kiss the baby for me, please.
So how are those beers? How are those beers tasting?
That's what I was just going to say. I think
I gave it a little more time to age. It's better than I originally thought it was.
I think this might be my new favorite. It's a tough call between this and the Helles, but this is
well. You
really
pounded
good.
You pounded the American ale too, or the amber ale too.
Yeah,
that was the very first one.
Just thirsty.
That was more me just being like, I need some fucking beer in me than it was. That was a stressful time in my life.
I'd say the German Helles ended up being pretty decent. It's a lot crisper even now, even a few more weeks into it. Like I poured a glass the other day and I was like, wow, that is really clear.
I don't think I had that one.
No.
No. This one's excellent though. And I've had one of each, I think.
Yeah, except for that one and the most recent one. I have an American ale in the keg over there.
Oh, do you?
How many brews deep are you in now?
I've done 6 so far.
All right.
And I have plans of doing another this weekend. I was going to do one last weekend, but I was like, I need to work my inventory down a little bit because it was starting to build up over the holidays. I can't drink that fast. And we weren't doing shows, and so I took some to hockey with me, and it went well the first couple times. Like people drank it the first couple times, and then the time after that, and there's just other people with beer there, so it didn't get picked at. And I'm not going to be the guy that's like, guys, try my beer. So I'm just gonna, it's there if they want it. It's available.
That's it.
Dude, several times on the show, I only intended to humor you. Because I'm for one, I'm not a big beer drinker. I like my whiskey. That's about it, really.
Yeah.
But
so far, I've been real picky about the ones I choose to
damn fine work, man.
To do, really do. Because I don't like I like IPAs, okay, but they're not my favorite.
Now, I'm sorry you said this earlier, but I was not clearly paying attention. What other ones do you have in the fridge, and what's on tap?
So there's more. There's more of the German Helles. They're in 22 ounces in here.
Okay.
Then that is the American ale.
Okay.
And then there is the porter.
Have I had the American ale?
No, that's new.
That's new.
That's the other new one.
That's
okay.
And that's one I can just taste because it's in the keg.
And then there's cold smoke.
I don't have to drink one.
So satisfy my curiosity here because I don't know what your eBay adventure is.
Okay.
I fucking hate eBay. I bought 2 things off of it in the entirety of its existence. Both of them were refurbished phones from this place out of Florida. And I was really, really happy with both of my purchases. And I have to do another one here soon because Matthew's getting a phone for his birthday in May. But yeah, please.
So the 1 gallon mini keg over there was the first purchase I've made off of eBay in probably 15 years. Because I went to Amazon and never looked back.
Yeah, see that
eBay was like, because eBay was always that place that you went that was like, might be okay.
Do they have 60,000
there's quasi sketch, yeah. And so
otherwise, I'm not buying from them.
And Amazon has a degree of that too, but it's a lot more.
It's gotten a lot worse.
It has gotten worse in recent.
It's like borderline Etsy level at times.
Yeah, but
wait, you guys saying Amazon or eBay?
Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
Like I bought I wore it for the Christmas episode. I bought a Gremlins pullover hoodie off of Amazon, and had absolutely no idea. It was very Etsy-esque. Like I said, it was.
Yeah, you have to be a little more careful on Amazon than you used to have to.
It was made in some Asian country. It was like really fine, not warm material. It was, like I said, it reminded me of the stuff you'd get off like Cafe Press or Etsy.
Right. So I order that, and that goes splendidly. It was fun. You can't really fuck that up because it was just a mini keg.
Yeah.
Boy, those dogs are going crazy.
Say,
they're not even my dogs. They're just barking.
Oh, really?
Sorry. I can't hear them.
Good.
It's driving me nuts.
They're fucking loud.
They are loud. Anyway, so it's so I order that because you can't really that can't really get fucked up. It's a brand new item. If I don't get it, then it's still guaranteed. But my son, my 14-year-old boy, has been watching the show Grey's Anatomy. And then on top of that, he's got this weird thing where he likes to collect tangible DVD copies of movies as a 14-year-old in the kind of that, like in that generation. That's where
unique for his generation.
For his generation, where he wants to, and I think it's because we had a lot of DVDs when he was like little, and he just kind of got used to the idea, and so now he wants to build his own collection. And I did that with VHS, and then immediately jumped on board with DVD when it became available.
I did that with books.
Yeah,
it's awful.
I used to, but I stopped because they're so fucking heavy.
So he's doing this. He's doing this thing, and he came home and he presented this whole thing to me, gave this whole presentation, and then he's like, "Okay, so they're selling seasons 1 through 15 or 16 of Grey's Anatomy on DVD, and he's already bought a couple or a few seasons, and he's like, so what I want to do is I want to buy this whole set of them, and then I'll sell those other ones on." I'll take them to a pawn shop or whatever. It was working out. It was like $150 for all these seasons. And so I was like, okay, but he's like, but he needs to dip into his savings account for it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, fine, you can do that, but you need to pay yourself back interest. So you're going to pay yourself back.
Ooh, I love that.
I think he would borrow $160
right there,
and then he's got to pay himself back another $15. Nothing major, but it's basically
it's the right idea, though. Yeah. I love that.
So he's like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. And so
it's like borrowing from his IRA almost.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So he does it, and so I order it, and he gets all excited because they get here the other day, and so he had this little in the back of his mind worry about them being pirated or bootlegs. And so I was like, well, there's a possibility it could be. It's off of eBay. I go, I haven't bought from eBay in forever, and I don't really trust them with sellers like this. And when you're buying DVDs like this, and this can this can happen on Amazon too. And so he's going through and he's watching all this stuff, and he gets on to season 4. He's going through and checking every disc. To see if they're legitimate versions. He gets to seasons 14 and 15, and Grey's Anatomy is an ABC produced show. Mm-hmm. Always been an ABC produced show. Season 14's discs all come up with Universal Studios, the globe and and the whole musical intro to him. And he shows me to verify this happened. So I messaged the seller. The first message was because he was pretty upset about it. And I go, these are pirated knockoffs. Seasons 14 and 15 have Universal Studios NBC intro. This series has always been an ABC series. How do you plan to rectify this? I just one more time. It's Grey's Anatomy that we're buying. The show Grey's Anatomy
for a 14-year-old boy.
Wait, hold on. Say this again. So who makes Grey's Anatomy?
ABC,
aka
ABC. And what was the logo that showed up?
The logo on those seasons showed up as Universal, which is an NBC owned.
Yeah, ABC I think is owned by Disney now, if I'm not
mistaken.
Yeah, they
so
are.
it definitely would not be Universal.
Buena Vista came up for most of them, but then these last couple seasons came up. And then the other thing that was suspect on them, what's that?
Did it get sold?
No.
The show? Because sometimes that happens.
No,
it's still
it's still on ABC, and it's a ABC holds on to that one
Well,
because it's so fucking old.
It makes housewives wet.
It's another one of those Shonda Rhimes.
It's fucking awful.
But so the other thing he's noticing on them is there's menus that are weird, where it's like now we're getting into ones that says just episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, whereas the previous seasons had episode titles.
Mm-hmm.
So they're bootlegs, but somebody actually took the time.
They're
to
bootlegs
make them look
with a tremendous amount of effort. Yeah. There's a ton of effort on them, but even some of like the packaging is weird because it'll have like pictures of the cast from several years previous, where it won't have current cast members on them. Even in the cases.
Oh, really?
That it comes in, yeah. And some of these are those cardboard cases, so it's like,
damn, they're running a legit outfit.
Yeah. So
did they respond
nothing like the bazaar in fucking Iraq? I was missing a whole episode of Deadwood. I was pissed.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
So he goes, "Hello, this is the original genuine product. Is there any quality product problem with the DVD or with the DVD?" I said, "It is not genuine. Universal didn't release nor distribute any season, yet the discs start with Universal opening for season 14. I'm obviously speaking in foreign language sentences now. With Universal opening for seasons 14 and 15. The menus are also generic, don't include episode titles like all previous seasons, but rather numbers only, and the image on the main menu screen doesn't include current cast members, but rather from several seasons previous. This is not genuine, and I did not pay to receive inauthentic merchandise." So what I'm kind of like going for here is like the hope that he will be like, I give you discount or I'll give you so much money back. Or like if I'm sounding threatening enough, here's all your money back.
Right. So you get all of these on DVD plus your cash.
Right. Hello, friends.
Hello,
friends.
Discount.
I am very sorry. If you don't want this product, please return the product to me. I will refund you after receiving the product. Thank you. I said some of the seasons also came damaged because they didn't come in a box. They came like wrapped in like wrapping paper, basically, like plastic wrapping paper. It was weird. So then I go, "I'm actually considering turning you in for selling pirated merchandise. Did you know you could go to prison or pay a fine up to $250,000 per violation? Because your actions are thus far criminal."
Yeah, man, you wouldn't.
I don't feel comfortable about getting my money back until I've shipped back until I've shipped back the merchandise. So basically I was saying, I don't want to ship back this merchandise and then run the risk of not getting my money back.
Yeah, no, you're going to give me my money back before
I want my money back first.
Pirated shit.
And then when you give me my money back, I'll be like, "No, these don't even exist."
Yeah. I'm sorry. Did you just admit to making pirated?
Yeah. So yeah, that's what's going on. And it's Grey's Anatomy of all things.
Oh, yeah,
I love that you're fighting with some random foreigner
over
pirated Grey's Anatomy
DVDs.
Which is, I've probably only seen 2 or 3 episodes, but it's a god awful show.
It's not great.
How much was the full set?
Shonda Rhimes
for all the seasons, $150.
$150.
Yeah,
it seems like a fair price actually. Like you get those bundles and they just sell them off.
Even like honestly, even pirated, it's not bad.
Yeah, really.
I don't know. Pirated. I don't know. Look, it costs you each. I don't know how many DVDs are in that set, but a DVD is probably about like $1.50, $2.50 to get it made, and then whatever the printing and all that stuff, you figure. I don't know. Let's call it $5 to be nice. I feel like that's pushing it.
Plus the time investment of like setting up the DVD menu.
Yeah, when you're doing that at such a massive scale, because this person's not just selling one.
It's not just that person either. It's like a team. One. Yeah.
Yeah. So the scale of it.
100 children doing that.
This isn't his only profile either. I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
There's more than just Michael ZZZ9 out there. There's got to be ZZZ10 and ZZZ11.
YYY9.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not. I don't know what I'm going to end up doing. Ultimately, it's going to be kind of I'm going to leave it up to my kid. to see what he wants to do. Part of his problem is he
I'd
really
turn him into
wants
the female body inspectors. That's what I'd do.
he wants to have authentic stuff, which I get
That's understandable.
to a degree.
Especially if you're collecting, you know?
Right. Yeah. And so the one thing I said is like, why don't you wait till the series runs its course? It's getting close because it's resting on that
If it's
main character played by.
Wait, they're still airing it? I thought it was over already.
oh no, it's still
Oh,
It's still going.
jeez.
I was like, why don't you wait till the series runs its course and
Yeah.
there's a box set that comes
there
out?
will be.
There will be multiple box sets.
Yeah, there'll be the ultra collector's edition. but
Exactly.
yeah. They will milk. They've already been milking this thing for as much as they can. Once it's done, if
Right.
physical media even exists by the time it's done.
Well, that's the only thing is like he might just be buying a box set on a terabyte drive or something.
yeah, yeah, that's a good point actually.
But yeah, so that's what's kind of going on with that. I thought it was an interesting story. He's
My girlfriend bought us Seen It off of eBay for Christmas, and
how'd that go?
well, the one that she bought was supposed to have shipped on the 17th, but never actually shipped. And they said that there was a problem. I don't remember the specific language of it, but she got an email or something saying that there was a problem with it. So she got her money refunded. So she was bummed because we couldn't play Seen It on Christmas together like we had planned on doing. And so she went on and she ordered a second one. And the second one arrived after a couple days. And then here just the other day, the first one that she ordered that she's already been refunded for
Showed up.
And she's like, I don't know what to do. I can't.
It's a nice surprise.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
whoa, who the fuck needs 2 copies of Seen It?
Give it away as a gift.
Talking about Seen It, have you guys ever heard of a game called Saboteur?
No.
Saboteur. No,
No.
but I love
Oh,
games. Sell me on that.
man. This game is incredible. I just found out about this over the holiday breaks. And it's a card game. So you
Okay.
have to get the actual set of cards called Saboteur. And essentially it's very social. So you have to play with other people, obviously, and then there's a cards of minors, and in those cards of minors there are several saboteurs, and the point of the game is to get to the gold. And if you're a saboteur, you want to not let the minors get to the gold before the cards run out, but you don't know who's a minor and you don't know who's a saboteur. So you play in a circle of friends, and essentially everyone is just pointing fingers at each other. Like, oh, he's a saboteur. No, wait. No, I'm a minor. Why are you blaming me? No. Oh my God, it gets really good. It gets really intense.
And it's only $15 on Amazon too. I might buy this shit.
It's
Isn't
very
fun.
affordable.
that sounds
that
sounds like fun?
fun.
Isn't there an app game that's similar to that right now? I can't remember the name
It's
of
like
it.
Werewolf or something.
No. You're talking about where there's like a murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
My daughter's been playing it.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it.
It's
Oh,
kind of, but not really.
Yeah.
That one.
Oh, Among Us?
Among Us. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and there's an older one. One of the first VR games was something like Werewolf in the Night or something, and it was a VR game around a campfire.
Yeah.
And one of the people's
people
a
is
werewolf.
a werewolf, and you have to, yeah.
And it used to be like an icebreaker game where one of the people was a murderer, and everybody goes around the room and shake hands, and one person shakes hands and does like a little scratch thing, and everybody who gets their hand scratched, like they shake 3 or 4 more hands and then die.
And then they die, and you have to, after each round, figure out who
Somebody has to be like, I think
is.
Ward's the killer. And
Yeah.
nope, it was Hudds.
Yeah.
Fucker.
No, I mean, Saboteur. Just make sure you get the original Saboteur. So they have a Saboteur 2.
Okay.
And it's probably the combo set that comes with, the first one and the second one. So you could just play the first one if you want. The second one gets a little too convoluted and complicated. The first one, the original, is perfect. The instructions are like 3 pages, small, 7 by 5 inch.
Yeah, no, I was
It's
gonna say,
really
I
easy
was
to
just
play.
looking at it on Amazon, and it's, yeah, that sounds fun.
I definitely recommend.
my girlfriend, her mom got her this game for Christmas that we were playing in the car ride home. I had to drive up to Spokane on Wednesday to pick her son up at the airport. And so she got this game that we were actually able to play in the car while we were driving. And it's called Your Worst Nightmare.
Ooh.
And it has a stack of cards, like a fucking Bible-sized stack of playing cards. And all of the cards have fears on them, ranging from everything of like public embarrassment, public toilets, monsters under the bed, basements,
the
like
number 13,
all sorts of shit. And many of them are things that I'm like, man, is that something people are really afraid of? Like swimming in dark water, all sorts of really, really, where you can't see what's underneath you, that kind of stuff. But just reading through some of the fears was really cool. But so what you do is
awfully specific, like
like weird. Like one of them was
clowns are gonna get me.
One of them was like one of them was literally fear, being afraid of being afraid.
Well, yeah, we have nothing to fear but fear itself.
And right, but so what you do is, however many people are playing the game, you take turns drawing 4 cards. And you draw the 4 cards, and then you read off what 4 fears they are, and you have to, in your own mind, rank them of what you're most afraid of versus least afraid of. And everybody in the game does the same thing, and they jot it down to themselves. And then each person goes around, and they randomly pick one person that's playing in the game, and they try to guess how that person ranked the fears.
Interesting.
It's really, really, and you learn a lot about people. Like for instance, my girlfriend literally, needles was one of the things that came up, and she was like, no, she's like, I'm so afraid of needles that my doctor ordered me to go get a blood draw, and I got a new doctor.
I'm scared of sharks.
Seriously.
Jenny. Just sharks.
No, it's a pretty fun
I don't
game.
like to wade much further into the ocean than about knee deep.
Oh, I'm ankles.
Knee deep? Wow.
Me.
I'll lose footing, but not much further than that.
Yeah, I wouldn't go much further than that. That's about where I'm at.
Mine is a combination of fear of sharks, fear of getting pulled away, and not being able to, not being able to do anything about it.
Yeah.
Nope, just sharks.
Like I don't consider myself a terrible swimmer. I can swim.
Yeah, but
talking
it's tiring.
Yeah, you get the ocean wins that one every time, buddy.
No, I don't think I have any irrational fears. Like I'm not specifically afraid of like mountain lions or anything. But I'm not gonna go fuck with a mountain lion.
Like fuck you, mountain lions.
I'm not legitimately scared of sharks.
That was one.
But I'm not gonna go fucking swim with them.
Right.
I'm not gonna go punch a bear in the face.
There were a few of them on there that I was like, yeah, shouldn't that just be something that everyone is really afraid of? Like hurricanes was one of them. And like, yeah, I can understand if you like, when I was a kid, I was in a hurricane. And so I have this irrational fear of high winds. And so, but like hurricanes, yeah. Show me a person who wouldn't be like, nah, fuck this, man. It's fine. I'm not.
Everybody that lives in New Orleans.
No, I used to legitimately be scared of spiders.
I am.
And then in basic training, I got bit on the face by a brown recluse. And it was right here.
I still remember that.
That morning it looked like a little pimple. And then by the evening it was swelled out. I looked like Quagmire from fucking Family Guy on half my face. And they had to cut it every day for 2 weeks and squeeze out this like green and red pus.
Ugh.
And it was awful. And they said if it had bit just a little bit lower, like the necrosis would have hit my jugular and I would have been done.
Oh, wow.
And so now I'm not scared of spiders anymore because that was like so close.
And I feel like that would make me more afraid of spiders.
No, I fucking survived.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I survived.
What are the odds, though, that he gets bitten twice in his life?
Yeah.
You know?
Like, I know
that's
how
true.
it happened because apparently that particular spider earns its name of recluse. It's super like not into being around people.
Yeah, right.
Like I had to have brought it back from the field because it was like the day after we got back from a field training exercise, and it had to have fallen off my gear and ended up on my pillow, and I had to have rolled over on it in my sleep, and it bit me because it was scared too.
Yeah.
What are those things that are over in the Middle East that look like face huggers? Are they camel spiders?
Camel spiders.
Yeah, man. Nope.
So was the movie Arachnophobia, was that just a no-go for you?
When I was a kid?
Yeah.
That
movie freaked me.
I was fucking paralyzed.
I love that
and now
movie.
I can just watch it and be like, whatever.
As an enjoyable comedy.
It doesn't matter.
When the one character's in the shower and they start coming out of the... Oh, fuck, man. That still gives me the willies.
That's a John Goodman. Actually, Jenny found this John Goodman show on Amazon last night called Alpha House.
That's good.
It's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Nice. I love John Goodman.
Bill Murray's in the first 15 seconds of it before he goes to prison. I don't know if he comes back later, but we didn't get that far.
It's a great show.
I'm not really scared of spiders, but I mean, they definitely, they creep me out, but like even that camel spider, I feel like I just beat the shit out of it. Like if it tried to attack me, I would just tear its legs off.
Oh, I would run screaming in the highest octave that my body could.
I would just kick the shit out of it.
We had one that lived under the interrogation booths, and my buddy Jake said, "You could put a fucking saddle on that thing."
Yeah, those
right into the DFAC.
That shit's yikes.
We heard it all the time. We saw it maybe twice, but it was goddamn big.
I was sitting in my basement one time watching football with my whole family, and I was sitting with my arm up on the arm of the couch, and so the TV is over here, and I can just see my forearm and my hand like out of my peripherals, and I saw movement and turned to see a spider starting to crawl up the sleeve of my hoodie. And I am not ashamed to say, I fucking threw both of my arms up in the air. I never found the spider to kill it because I just threw my arms up in the air as I literally fucking leapt off of the couch and screamed like a housewife with a 50s fucking, ah! It was... Yeah, I don't do good with spiders at all.
Mara's gangster walk is something to behold.
That comment was funny. That had me chuckling. That was hilarious.
This is my 2-year-old daughter, Mara. She's
super hood.
She's
so. Can you attest to Jenny being afraid of nothing?
I don't know, man. She lives with you.
She lives with me.
She's afraid of the back of my hand. I know that much.
No,
would you give me one of those, please?
I don't know. I don't think she's scared of much.
Thank you.
Nothing in particular.
I've only talked to her that one time at the Elks, and she didn't like. I mean, I didn't ask her, "Are you afraid of things?"
Laughably. I've known her.
Clowns.
I don't know her anywhere near as well as you do, but I've known her longer than you have, and I can't really think of.
She says, I brought a black widow to the preschoolers I used to work with. My supervisor didn't like that. Okay, so
I'm sure
she's got me beat there
obviously
because
not
I'm not going to
spiders.
capture the black widow alive.
Nope.
My thing with the black widow is you're done.
I've always been a crusher on that front. Because those are aggressive.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Yeah, no, and we've had them here. I've had a
mean.
couple in my garage and a couple in my pool boxes.
Yeah,
freak my kids out.
Yep.
But no, it's not like existential terror like they used to be. When I was a kid, I was fucking scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like when you're a kid, you're scared of a lot of things because you just don't understand it.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of our fears come from not knowing, not understanding,
lack of just understanding in general.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like the fear of the dark. The only reason you're afraid of the dark is because you don't know what's there.
Exactly.
Yeah. What is it? Lovecraft said that the oldest and greatest fear of man is the fear of the unknown.
Well, that's why so much of his writing was done the way that it was.
Yeah.
It's all very abstract.
Like, oh, we can't understand that, and so we'll always be scared of it.
Yeah.
It has 1,000 young or fucking 18 eyes or tentacles for a face. It's creepy.
Unnatural beyond definition.
So Ron,
Yeah,
to shift gears,
I listened to last night. I've been building the 1,400 piece Lego Millennium Falcon.
I re-listened to both of Bruno's episodes today.
I wasn't able to finish the second one, but I did listen to the first one.
We were doing homework to make sure we didn't like wander into
I didn't
territory that's already been wandered in.
Oh, I did. I was there, and
I was
remember,
really bummed that I wasn't able to be a part of the show that you were on when you were on previously, because what you do for a living is like, I don't want to say my dream job.
Well, it's both within, like, it's within the realm of the arena you wanted to play in.
It's in that same kind of, maybe not the same ballpark, but definitely the same sport. And so getting the opportunity to talk to you was really, really exciting to me. And so I wanted to kind of do my homework, and I also wanted to make sure that I didn't retread over stuff that you guys had already discussed in the past. And I didn't hear this. Like I said, I didn't get to finish the second show, but how did you're a location scout, correct?
Well, I don't just scout. I work in the locations department. So yeah, sometimes that does entail scouting.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm just like the person being in between the production and the non-production people.
Okay.
Like the go-between.
So how did you get into that? Like, what led to you being in the position that you're in now?
So I started wanting to act, which is what I feel like a lot of people in the business start out as, right? They come in through that, and then as they navigate through, they usually go into other positions.
Yeah.
And then I realized, like, you know what? I like putting things together, logistics. I want to produce. And almost everyone I spoke to said, if you want to produce, locations is the best department for you, because you deal with every department in a production, and you deal with people outside of production, you deal with permits, you deal with a lot of the logistical stuff. And it's also like, if you want to become a producer in that world, that's usually the rank you go up from, through locations, and then you become a UPM, and then a line producer, and then executive producer, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
So I had a friend that was in the industry, as also in locations, and I pretty much just begged him for like 2 years for any kind of opportunity, and he spent those 2 years trying to talk me out of it. Like, dude, you don't want it. It's crazy, long hours. It's the worst job. And I was like, I don't care, man. Just anything, whatever. And one day it worked out.
Okay.
I haven't looked back since.
How long have you been doing it?
2016. So I'm going on 5 years now.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when you do something like that, do you work for a specific, like, do you work for an actual, like, individual entity, or are you like basically an independent contractor where you're hired out by different organizations, or how does that work?
So this is the part that's really difficult to explain, and really difficult for people outside of the industry to grasp. And honestly, even if you're in the industry, if you don't work in production, if you work like for a studio or something like that, it's hard for people to grasp. So we're employees, but freelance, if that makes sense. So what happens is, let's say Marvel's filming the new Spider-Man, I don't know, whatever, right?
Yeah.
The producer knows, their department heads, because you network with people as you work in the business. And the producer goes, all right, I'm going to hire this department head, this one, whatever. And then the department heads, based off their networking, hire the people under them. So I'll get hired by my location manager, and they'll bring me on as an actual employee for the span of the project. So if the project is, let's say it's a 6-month project, I'll be a W-2 employee for 6 months. So I get paid, regular paycheck with my taxes already deducted. And at the end of the year, I get a W-2 for my taxes. But then at the end of those 6 months, I'm now on my own to find my own job. So that's the freelance.
So then it goes back to more of a freelance type situation.
Right, exactly. And then, then someone else will call me and I'll get a new job. And
so during that 6 months, are you dedicated to that production then?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So at the moment, my current project, I'm a 20th Century Fox employee or whoever Disney deals with, whatever their production company.
Studios.
Yeah, so
whatever they call themselves today.
I can't remember now. So like
20th Century Studios, if I remember.
20th, right? Yeah. So the project I'm on is a Disney project, so I'm technically a Disney employee at the moment. Okay. Once this project is over, who knows? Maybe I'll be an HBO employee, Paramount, whatever.
Oh, good question, Jenny. How many different location managers do you have?
Typically, there's only one location manager. Depending on the project and the complexity of it, there could be multiple location managers. So if you're doing an episodic, so like a TV series, and it's very heavy with locations, you may have 2 location managers where, this location manager does the even episodes and this one does the odd episodes.
Okay.
Or if you have, let's say, a big studio $100 million project where you're filming in 5 different countries, you may have an overall location manager who oversees the whole movie as a whole, but then you have location managers in each country that report to that top guy. And yes, so Jenny's asking, do you have to follow different guidelines for Disney? Yeah, every studio has their own guidelines. For the most part, they're very similar, but everyone does have little intricacies and little differences. So there's a little bit of a learning curve anytime you go to a new production.
To piggyback off of that, because I had a question that's kind of similar to that. How many NDAs would you say that you've had to sign in the 5 years that you've been working?
Not many.
Really?
Yeah, they don't really. It's not really an NDA per se that you sign. You sign your start work, and then there's usually just like a little form that says you can't take photos, you can't post on social media about anything that you're filming or anything like that.
So it's not like an actual NDA. It's more of a gentleman's agreement NDA type thing.
Exactly. It's not like
a contract you enter into within. Like if you breach the contract, you're fired.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right.
Have you ever dealt with anybody who's violated that kind of stuff? Because one of the things that so the reason why what you do is so fascinating to me and why it was something I've always been so interested in is Ward and I have talked in the past. I had no interest in acting. I can play pretend pretty well. But I have really, really bad fear of public performance and stuff like that. So that kind of thing is never been something that was interesting to me. I'm interested in that kind of stuff, the location scouting, the back end production aspect of it. That's what's always fascinating.
You had fun working with me back in 2003 when I was taking like video production classes and stuff.
Yeah.
I actually, because I got into doing that because of interest in acting, and then ultimately started doing like production schedules and stuff like that, and then like picking out like breaking kind of the script down and stuff. Like, okay, we can film these 6 scenes here this day and these scenes here this day, because we had all the scenes like broke up at different locations and stuff, and that was more
crazy.
Which was more
full frontal for the right amount of money.
It was more fun to me.
Full penetration.
It was more fun to me to do that. It turned out than the acting, and I suck at acting.
2 separate worlds.
Yeah, no, I know. No, I didn't. Like I said, I didn't want to move to Hollywood because I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to move to Hollywood because I wanted to be involved in making the stuff. I didn't want to be.
You would have had a much easier time.
I didn't want to be in front of the camera.
I was apprehensive to do this, to go to LA or do any of that stuff, just because of the fear of failure.
Yeah.
Oh, and it was probably I'd just be scared of California.
So one of the things
that too, like, and being in a bigger place.
One of the things that
Bruno's like, fuck, I'm in New Jersey.
Now,
I follow.
To back up just a little,
I got a question. Edwardo has a question though for Bruno.
Oh, Edwardo.
Can you get me in a movie with Bill Murray? Look, I do. I have a friend of mine has personally worked with Bill Murray and knows him. I do not know Bill Murray. You can call Bill Murray's hotline though, because
apparently it's hard to get anything done with Bill Murray. Like you have to catch him.
Yeah,
pretty much
in the right mood. Yeah.
And then
So he doesn't have an agent. He just has a hotline, and you call his hotline to try to get in touch with him. So you either know someone who knows him, or you know him, or you go through his hotline.
well, and I just know a guy who knows Mel Gibson.
I saw Kevin Bacon once at the water slides when I was like 11.
Wow, that's
So
one
that's
degree of
that's,
separation.
I know,
That's-
exactly.
Wow, yeah.
You
So-
don't have even a degree of separation.
You win that game.
You
Damn.
swam in the same waters.
Right. Yeah.
You're part of that bacon
Same
gravy.
molecules. Yeah.
Yeah.
We probably touched the same water molecule.
Yum.
Oh man.
That's intimate.
Now, when you have different location managers who, like, one does odd, one does even,
Mhm.
would you work for both of them, or
Sometimes, yeah. Typically.
oh, okay. So it wouldn't be like one of them would hire you and you would only work on half the episodes.
It can all depend, but typically it'll be two managers, but then the team underneath are the same. They'll just move back and forth between the managers. The reason that you need the two managers is because TV moves really fast. Like, you're filming episode 1. While you're filming episode 1, you're already prepping episode 2, right?
And probably three.
And sometimes.
Yeah.
TV production is as much of a gauntlet as it's made out to be.
What do you mean?
That it is just wham, 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 wham.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, so I
I've
talked to you.
I've heard that before, but
Yeah.
I talked to you just like a month or so ago, and you were working on a Hulu project, weren't you?
It's the Disney. It's a Disney Hulu project.
Oh, is
it? It's done by Disney to stream on Hulu.
oh, okay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a TV show. But yeah, in that realm, the series realm, it moves really fast. So if it's a locations heavy production where, maybe they're on stage only like 1 or 2 days instead of, maybe a handful of days, it's nearly impossible for a location manager to be filming episode 1 and be dealing with prepping for episode 2. It's just, it would be a nightmare. You would get no sleep essentially.
Right.
So that's typically when they'll do, multiple location managers.
Okay.
Because the directors are not the same. The directors, they switch as well.
Yeah,
So
like some of them, they have a different director for every single episode.
Yeah, a lot
yeah,
of
exactly.
So
Exactly.
with there being like on TV shows and stuff with like where they have like guest directors come in, and Kevin Smith will
Mhm.
talk a lot about like being a guest director on like Supergirl or some shit like that. Is it really like, is there any style that comes from the director, or is a lot of it just kind of handled by the crew because they're kind of sticking to the format that's already in place for whatever the show happens to be?
Yeah, the style is dictated more by the DP and the showrunners. The showrunners are usually the people who wrote the original story and the producers.
So the director's kind of more there to call action and cut and
Yeah, and make
performance
sure
out.
get the performances.
Make
Yeah. So, and look, it really depends. Some showrunners, they want the director's input, and they get pieces
or they
ideas
want
from the
a little
directors.
flavor from that director. And
Right. Sometimes not. Sometimes they're really just there to call cut and action, and that's it.
all right.
So I'm going to avoid all the bitchy questions, but I'm going to ask who's the best director you've ever worked with?
I wouldn't be able to even tell you because I don't really deal with directors too much.
I
okay.
wasn't gonna ask for you to name names because I don't want you to put yourself out like that. But what I do want to ask, like tangentially from that, is not who was the most difficult person that you had to work with, because again, I don't want you to have to name names, but can you describe the most difficult situation that you had to deal with in terms of just like pulling your hair out? Oh, fuck this person.
I can give you the perfect example. And it wasn't really a person, it was just the scope of the work that I was put in charge of was pretty massive. So I had to essentially deal with 2 city blocks worth of businesses. You're talking about like 50, 60 businesses.
Yeah.
So I had to be the intermediary for these 50, 60 businesses while having to deal with like 40 crew members, right, needs, and just all the bitching and moaning from the business owners, because you get bitching and moaning. That's just, it's normal.
Yeah.
And I was starting to pull my hair out because it was crazy. It was a lot to deal with for one person to deal with. It was.
How long did that go on?
It was a month and a half of prep,
Jesus.
I believe. No. Hold on, I'm not done. It was a month. It was a month and a half of prep. So what happens is we'll come in, prep the location, right? Then we'll come and film it, and then we wrap it out, meaning we put it back to however it was beforehand.
Yeah.
So we're coming in a month and a half. We're changing, all the signs out, all the awnings for like 50, 60 businesses. It's a lot of changes. It's about a month and a half of work. And then we're there filming for about 4 days. And then we're another month of cleaning up and getting out of there. So all in all, it was like a 2-month process.
Jesus.
2 to 3 months. Yeah.
Just to make it look like it's the right time and place.
Essentially right time and place and everything. It's like I said, 4 days of filming. It's probably going to be a total of like 5 minutes in the film.
Have you worked on
maybe 10
in that regard? Have you worked on much like period piece type stuff where you really have to go the extra mile and make sure, like, no, every car that's on the block has to be like 40s to 50s?
We talked about this the last one a little bit, but this was
really?
I asked this exact question, but that's okay because I want to hear more if he's got more.
So yeah, I mean, this particular instance was a period piece, which made it even crazier. It made it even crazier. But yeah, no, I've done. I worked on Pose season 1, which is period.
I remember hearing about that. That took place in like the 80s, right?
Yeah, 70s, 80s.
Yeah,
it's like AIDS epidemic.
Yeah,
yes, 70s, 80s. Yeah, because it's like the ballroom scene around the LGBTQ community and stuff. And it was all like old style cars. And I remember, it's funny because I watched the first season. And I remember seeing a scene where, because what we'll do is, we'll not my department, right, but the production will rent out these cars, and we'll also rent what we call a blocking truck. A blocking truck is literally a period-looking truck that's meant to get in front of things that are not period, to block the camera.
No shit.
Yeah. So
that's great.
So if you ever see a truck somewhere in the background, it's because they're blocking something that was not part of the period, and we just couldn't change it or
get rid of it in time or whatever.
Exactly, whatever it is.
That's hilarious.
Huh? Interesting.
So I saw that truck, and the way that the cars were organized, you could tell that block had not been fully cleared of parking for us. So there was a non-period car that had remained in its parking space, and they had to cover it up so that it wouldn't be
secure it with a truck in some way.
That's why they made dynamite, though. You just blow that shit up. You're like, oh, whoops.
So, what's and I feel like this is a fucking job interview, so I apologize for
no, dude, I mean, this is fun. I like talking about this stuff.
But no, like I said, I could pick your brain for fucking hours, honestly. What's your, like, I don't know if end game is the right, I mean, it is the right way, but like, where do you
plan to stay where you're at, or do you plan to climb?
No, I won't producing,
on going from where you're at currently.
Producing, that's the ultimate goal, is produce my own projects. Not projects necessarily that I've written, but projects that I find.
Do you write?
I don't write. I have friends who write, and I collaborate with them.
Okay.
But I just want to find the projects, take the projects, find the funding for it, put the whole thing together, and then see it through production and then distribution and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
If you ever need a pretty charismatic face, I can be there.
Just
and you're into nudity, so that's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You need a guy to shower in the background.
We get that a lot. So we film in public, so there's regular civilians walking down the sidewalk and whatever, and they'll stop and they'll ask like, "Oh, what are you guys doing?"
You need somebody to get naked?
Well, no. So we get a lot of the times like, "Oh, you need any extras?" And that's usually my go-to line, like, "You into nudity?" And usually people are like, "Oh, no, never mind.
Do you know how fast I can get naked?
You need me right now? Let's go right now.
That's great. So, to kind of lead into the next thing, how has, now that we've been dealing with COVID for, I mean, shit, what was it?
Well, when you were completely shut down in September or August when we did the show,
was it August or September when he was on?
And he wasn't.
How has it been since then?
Right.
So it's been completely different. I mean, I get tested 3 times a week.
Really?
Yeah, 3 times a week. The last project I was on and this project, I get tested Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
And so I guess it would be safe to say you haven't had COVID once.
I caught it right in the beginning. So.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Do they like, I know one of the things that a lot of sports stuff you see done in like the NBA and in some, I think the MLB did a little bit of it as well. Do they try to keep you like kind of in a bubble? Do they limit you or at least ask you to limit your?
They do. I mean, you know, it's impossible to, it's not like the NBA where they just kept the athletes surrounded only amongst themselves and they couldn't have any outs. You know, we go home every day. We deal with our spouses, parents, kids, family members. So it's tough to do that, but it is very strict. They have us. So essentially the protocols are you get put into zones, right? So, and each production names their zones differently. But in the case that I'm in right now, if you're in zone A, that's the highest risk zone. That's the zone you're closest to the actors, right?
Oh, okay.
That would be your DP, your director, obviously your actors, maybe the sound guy, your hair and makeup people, right?
People who are really intimately close to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those people are getting tested 3 times a week. You obviously have to wear your mask and you have to wear a face shield on top of your mask. Both.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they still try to it's difficult to maintain 6 feet apart when you're on a set. Yeah. But they try their best to do that. And then that's zone A. Then you have zone B plus, which is what I'm in right now. And zone B plus is someone who shifts between zone A and zone B. So we also get tested 3 times a week. Same thing, masks on. And if you're on set, if you're near the actors, face shields. If you're within 6 feet of someone, face shields as well. Then you have zone B. Zone B people, I think, only get tested once or twice a week. They're usually more on the outskirts of the inner area. And then you have zone C. Zone C are people that they're like office or, never come anywhere near production. They'll get tested once a week and they just have to wear a mask. They don't know face shields or anything like that. And then depending on the studio that's doing this, some are way more strict than others. So the last project I was on a Netflix movie with Lin-Manuel Miranda, and the COVID team on that was no joke. These guys were super anal about everything. I mean, before we walked into a space, they had to go in, inspect the space. They had to see what the air quality was like. They had to see how big the space was. Wow. They told us how many people were allowed to be in that space at the same time. We had air scrubbers come in to scrub the air while people are there.
That's crazy.
Do you think, that might tie into the next part of this conversation, but so do you think Lin-Manuel Miranda's attachment to it kind of dictated the terms of that, possibly?
No, I think it's a Netflix thing.
It was more of a Netflix thing.
Okay.
I'm sure it's entirely insurance driven.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
The studios are trying to cover their asses, right? Because if someone gets sick or there's an outbreak, they don't want to be like, oh, we didn't do anything. They want to be like, look, we did everything.
Well,
there's nothing else we could have done to prevent this. Someone must have not done what we asked them to do.
Isn't it also like time is money, obviously. And one of the things that I followed was the production on the new Jurassic World and some of the COVID testing procedures that they were doing and how many times production would get halted. Or, I mean, it happened with Matt Reeves' new Batman movie too. Any of that time where production gets shut down because of a lapse in the COVID stuff, that's all just money that goes straight to the toilet. I mean, that's they're not just worried about saving money on the insurance portion of it. They're worried about, if they have to shut down for 6 weeks or 2 weeks because the star of the show got COVID because people weren't doing what they were supposed to do. Yeah. That's just money that they might as well wipe their asses with, right?
Absolutely. No, I mean, you're paying rental equipment, you're paying rent on the studio and stage space, you're paying the vehicle rentals. I mean, people, when they think of movies, they get dollar signs in their eyes because they think, there's a lot of money involved. And yeah, there is a lot of money involved, but there's also a lot of money being spent. You're employing like hundreds of people.
Yeah.
Hundreds of people. You have, dozens dozens of vehicles, gas and toll for those vehicles, equipment rental, location fees, background actors. Forget it. There's a lot of money involved.
So with now, wasn't in the newest stimulus, wasn't something worked in for entertainment, or wasn't it talked about?
I don't know.
Well, I remember the reason I bring it up is because a friend of mine had posted about basically like, why do we need to give money to entertainers? And it was the whole idea of like, it was basically some sort of piece of the bill that was basically trying to keep like the entertainment industry, like give money to the entertainment industry for the COVID relief stuff.
Oh, the whole they make millions. So why
it's like they make millions. Like, and it's like, well, no, not everybody working in the movie industry is George Clooney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not everybody gets 6 figures a picture.
Well, and the other thing is it's not like they're not providing a value.
Right. Yeah. Like, do you not sit down every night and enjoy some form of entertainment?
And I can agree that not every fucking movie is high art.
Sure.
But I mean, I watched fucking Deathstalker for Christ's sake.
I was gonna say, man, I make a ritual out of watching movies that are definitely not high art.
So would you come down? I'm guessing you'd come down on Tom Cruise's side with his blow up.
I've got mixed feelings about that. Before we get there, I just want to address Tori's question. Tori's asking, does it get easier being tested that much, or does it suck just as badly every time? I think you get used to it. I mean, it still sucks. It's a little weird, but
you get used to.
Yeah. But I will say though, they're not going as deep anymore as they used to. They're kind of just like going maybe like this far versus before they would go this far.
Have they discussed getting you the vaccine?
No.
Okay.
No. I'll be honest though. I don't know. I don't think I'd want to get it.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm on the fence.
Look,
throwing them away.
I don't get the flu vaccine.
I
don't either.
Where I'm at is I don't get the flu vaccine. Why would I get this?
And I know my opinion differs with many of the people I share the same hemisphere with, but I don't get the flu vaccine either.
Yeah, no.
No.
I take vitamins.
Yep.
And
same here. And you build an immunity.
I wash my hands.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't know.
And I don't scratch my asshole and then shake people's hands.
Here's my experience with COVID. I've been around one person.
Can't say anything about the people
positive.
shaking your hands though.
Yeah,
he was 5 years old, and he read a book and recovered.
Hey, dude,
He tested positive both at a Walgreens and the hospital, and he stayed home, did his little quarantine thing. He had a sniffle, and he was fine. 75 years old.
So
I'm not scared.
Here's my rebuttal, but it's not even really a rebuttal because it's kind of just adding into what you're saying. My parents got it, both. pretty positive that dad brought it home from work. Mom is what they describe as the high risk people. She has really, really shitty lungs. She's had pneumonia several times in her life. That is a good question, actually, because that's something I've wondered about the healthcare workers that I have friends with.
I was going to answer that after, but
okay.
Go ahead.
Sorry, but no, because I've like I said, I have several friends and family members in the healthcare industry who I'm like, okay, so now that you have the vaccine, do you still have to get tested? But so pretty positive that dad brought it home from work. We know that dad had it because when mom was in the hospital for it, he had to get tested and he had the antibodies and, so on and so forth. Dad had a fever for an evening, basically. Like he came home from work and he was like, man, I feel like shit. I'm taking some NyQuil and I'm going to bed early. And that was it. My mom was in the hospital for 20 days on an oxygen ventilator because her lungs could not pump enough oxygen to keep her alive.
See, I'm thinking of getting donating blood so I can get the antibody test.
Like the 90s.
No, she hasn't. But again, that's what I'm saying is you've got two people who are literally the same exact age. One is in not as good a health as the other one, but neither of them are what I would consider like a fucking pinnacle of physical health.
Right.
But look at the severe difference between, one of them had a fever for a matter of 8 hours and the other one literally would have died if it weren't for modern medicine.
And was it the COVID that did that? Nobody fucking knows.
Yeah. And that's a whole nother concept.
That's what my symptoms were like. I had fever for like 24 hours, if that, and I was good after that.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Mars and I had it like late March, early April, and we had this like horrible brown snot for a couple of days, and then we were fine. And
I got really lethargic over the summer for a few days.
That.
What made you spit out your drink, Tori?
And what made you spit out your drink?
Because I love a good spit take if they're genuine.
But yeah, so I'm curious. I'm almost like tempted to go donate blood more for just to find out if I have the antibodies.
One of my coworkers actually, so he had it and he is, is it O negative is the super rare blood type?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets phone calls and like letters in the mail and stuff.
Soliciting his blood.
Because it's the universal donor.
They're like, please, we need your blood, especially in trying times like these, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no shit. They're literally like.
Is he a generous person?
I honestly, I don't know him well enough to answer that question.
Okay. Because the Japanese
He's
have
a nice
this
guy,
idea that your whole personality can be. Because you know how Japanese video games always put people's blood type.
Yeah.
They use it like a horoscope. Like
really?
you can tell somebody's entire personality based on it.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I always wondered if the universal donor was also like a generous person, because I'm a universal receiver and I'm the most selfish person in the whole fucking world. And so
like I said, he's a nice guy, but I don't know him well enough to know.
I put quite a bit of stock.
What his altruism
Yeah.
meter is.
Yeah.
But so anyway, to circle back to and you may not even know the answer to this question, but if you were to get vaccinated, would you still then be subjected to getting tested?
Or 100%. Yeah. 100%. Because the uncertainty around the vaccine actually working, and the uncertainty with like apparently these new strains and everything, they would still test us just to double check and make sure.
That makes sense.
The new strains to keep the news media going.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah. You know, they
exist. I'm just.
This is. I feel like this is just gonna be. This is just gonna be the norm. The norm in the industry for like maybe another year or two until things calm down and slow down, and we gain some kind of herd immunity, and then we'll gradually wane off of it.
And it'll become just similar to the flu.
Right.
The 1918 flu or whatever.
Okay, so my last question.
I don't know about calling Valley Med. Call Valley Med for what?
They weren't helpful for me when I tried to get tested. I'll tell you that. They asked me if I had symptoms. I said no, and they said, "Well, then just act as though you have it." I was like, well, that's not really fucking helpful, but okay. My last question for you, and again, I could fucking pick your brain for.
Dude, you can hit me up off air if you want. No problem.
I already I started following you on Twitter while we were doing this. Just so you know.
All right.
You have
stalker.
you have a fanboy now. Just but my last question for you before we move on to, because I'm dying to talk about Wonder Woman 84.
I want to circle back to Tom Cruise too, real quick.
Yes.
Who doesn't?
What is in it relates to all of this COVID stuff. We've talked several times on the show, the last couple episodes, about the death of the American theater chain and the continuing rise of streaming versus, home media viewing versus going to the theater and that kind of stuff. As somebody who works in the industry, A, do you have an opinion on that? And B, what do you see changing?
So it's sad that theaters are dying, but that's the reality. Theaters are dying. And unless they can do something new and innovating, it's going to slowly die away. It won't die completely. Like you still have drive-thrus.
Yeah.
You still have drive-through theaters, and you're still going to have the theater because it's a special experience.
Absolutely.
But it's just not going to be as common. It's just not going to be as common, essentially. Anyone can afford a nice size TV for their living room now, and a decent
86 inches.
Exactly, and
so jealous.
a decent sound system.
Yeah.
So why are you going to go out and spend all this money when you could just watch it at home for a tenth of the price, be in the comfort of your own home? I think you guys spoke about this on a previous show. You don't have to deal with all the morons who are in the theater with you.
We don't even have that bad of a theatrical experience where we live, just because we live in such a rural area.
I'd say the worst part of the experience is the ads.
Yeah, the ads are really terrible.
Yeah. And they cut it back to 2 per.
We don't live in an area with a big. Our multiplex only has, I think, like 8 screens. We don't live in a place.
That's pretty large.
It is.
That's a pretty large multiplex.
We have
multiplexes here.
It's like 16.
That's Spokompton, though.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't know.
They go big on everything.
Consistently, what I always hear.
How big do you have there, Bruno?
I was trying to think about that. I think the biggest one in my area is like 12 screens.
So 8's a good size.
But see, that's the thing. The biggest one in your area, we have 8, but we have that one.
We're utilizing maybe 3 of those right now.
Yeah.
Or 4, depending on what movies are coming out. Like they close and open and close and open.
I hear so frequently about people of like, oh, I had some fat shit sitting behind me who couldn't figure out how to eat his M&Ms with his mouth closed, or these 2 teenagers that were sitting in front of me on their cell phones the entire time talking and blah, blah, blah. And maybe I'm just extraordinarily fortunate, but I don't really have that experience very often when I go to the theater. Like when I went and saw, I've mentioned it many times, when I went and saw Midsummer, I was literally the only fucking person in the theater. It was great.
Yeah. What time did you go? What time of day?
Early evening, like not the late show, but not the matinee show, not the late, like 6-ish.
I try to go on like times where people don't go, so I can have the theater almost to myself.
I do that as well sometimes.
Also, those times are usually cheaper.
Yeah,
that's true.
I mean, I went to the what was the most recent midnight release that I went to, and even
Tenet. Was it Tenet?
No, I still haven't seen Tenet actually.
I watched it in theaters.
Was it all right?
How was it? Was it as convoluted and frustrating as people make it?
It is pretty convoluted.
Okay.
And a little tough to understand, but I mean, I think I was able to understand it.
Christopher Nolan's movies.
Well, that was Inception for me. It took a while for me to like wrap my mind around Inception. Like,
so if you had trouble with Inception, I think you may have, because like Tenet is just even deeper.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I finally got Inception. Like, Inception finally occurred to me what was happening. Like, I mean, I probably got it when it came out the first time.
Yeah.
But I was like, yes, no. But then this time I watched it more recently this year. I was like, oh, okay. So you're just in this dream within this dream within this dream within this dream. Is essentially the whole.
Yeah.
And I love Memento.
Memento's good.
Memento is fantastic.
His best movie, though.
Prestige is incredible.
It's not even a discussion. Prestige is his best movie, hands down.
And I'm interested in Tenet just because I want to get my mind fucked with a little bit. But it's one of those ones I won't be able to watch it with my wife. She'll be like, I'm bored by this.
I love basically everyone.
Women suck.
The biggest reason why I haven't watched it yet is, for one, I don't want to go see it in the theater because, and you can probably attest to this, Bruno, I've heard that the sound mixing is so bad that you like genuinely need to watch it with subtitles.
I don't think so.
No? Okay. I heard it pretty consistently from a lot of people, but the biggest reason I want to see it is not because it's a Christopher Nolan movie. I love everybody that's in that movie.
Jenny, do you mean Inception or Tenet?
I have an unhealthy crush on Elizabeth Debicki, the chick that was she was in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and she was in The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Which one is she in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Aisha, the gold lady.
Oh. I don't know what she is without makeup on.
Yeah, she's gorgeous, is what she is.
I don't like gold skinned girls.
I really
not since that girl died in Goldfinger.
For every I
thought it was Tilda Swinton.
For everything that he got shit on for doing Twilight, I think Robert Pattinson is a remarkably talented actor.
Yeah, he is.
And I really, really like almost everything I've seen him in outside of Twilight. Kenneth Branagh speaks for himself. I can see that. Fucking awesome. Like everybody that's in that movie, I am a genuine large fan of. And it's a Christopher Nolan movie. So yeah.
Yeah.
Once it's streaming and I can watch it at home with subtitles, I'll totally watch it.
Do it. I mean, it's worth a watch, you know.
Jenny, what movie are you talking about?
Yeah.
Inception or Tenet?
So
I haven't seen Tenet yet.
Ward, you were asking me about Tom Cruise's thing.
Yeah.
And so I have mixed feelings about that.
Okay.
I also don't know if that was planned. You know what I mean? Like that may have been for show.
That's kind of what I
like a big
kind of what I wonder, like theater,
right.
like to be like, look at me being all like supportive of this whole movement that we're having right now.
Right. I think there's a chance it may have been a stunt, just because like I said, you know, you're. I mean, from what I heard on that set,
you can say it and be done with it. And then also, like, he said it and just kept on saying it and saying it.
Well, no, it's like, how do those recordings even get out? You know, like I heard on that, I don't know how true this is because I'm allowed to keep my phone on almost all the sets I've been on. But apparently on that set, you're not allowed to have your phone, which means where did the recording come from? Because if it's the sound guy recording it, there's no way the sound guy is releasing that sound. He's going to get fired and probably never hired again if that's a real thing.
And the quality on that was like
tight. It was pretty incredible, right? It was pretty good quality.
It wasn't through somebody's pocket.
Right. So there's some debate there whether, you know, that was fake or whether it was real. However, if it was real, you know, from one side, I get where he's coming from, and it's like, you know, why do you have to be the asshole that's not following directions? That is gonna essentially screw it up for everybody. You know, like it's essentially what he's saying. Like there's people, this is their livelihood. This is how they pay their mortgage. This is how they get their kids through college and all of that. And not only that, it's also the responsibility that, you know, a lot of jobs are still not back in. A lot of jobs have still been deemed non-essential, and we have now been deemed essential. And for us to then go and screw it up, you know, it's going to make us look bad. Yeah. So why would you be that asshole to do that?
A bad example for everybody else.
Pretty much. On the other hand, it's like, dude, you don't need to talk to people that way. You know, it's like maybe you say something once, you lose your cool for a second, and then you're like, all right, just, please don't do that. Or let's pull him aside. Or, dude, if you're Tom Cruise, you would literally get him fired. You would just be like, go to the producer and be like, yo, this guy, I've asked him 2 or 3 times to follow the rules. He's not following the rules. I don't want him near me anymore. Please, can you not have him on set? You're not going to berate someone like that.
It reminded me a lot of that Christian Bale thing from several years back.
That was real, though.
Well, yeah, that was real.
That was real.
That was 100% real. But that was more to the point that you were just making about in what world, I don't care who you are. Yeah, you're fucking Tom Cruise. But in what world do you think that it's okay for you to speak to another person like that? Like, ever?
Well, and the other thing is it's Tom Cruise, and everything he does is so heavily controlled.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also very cranked up to 11.
But his whole life since joining the fucking...
Not Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise.
What is that fucking...
Scientology.
Ever since he's been their poster boy, everything has been tightly controlled.
Very.
And so that getting out is not likely. And whoever released it, if it wasn't on purpose, if it wasn't...
I thought he had left recently, but I guess not.
No, he's still their...
It's crazy.
It just downplayed a lot more than it used to be because after those, that Going Clear documentary came out,
and Leah
Remini's thing about after Scientology on A&E.
Well, and then the cult thing that Nexium cult thing with Allison Mack, all sorts of cult shits
they
cropping up, and it's making cults unpopular.
They try to kind of keep themselves a little bit more deliberately distant.
Yeah, they're definitely more aloof about it.
Unspoken thing.
Well, I mean, he was aloof in his little Oprah thing years ago, where he's dancing on the couch.
On the couch.
That was almost his distraction. Scientology, but look at me be crazy.
Well, look at how much traffic there was for the whole concept of what was going on with his marriage to Katie Holmes. And
right.
All of that the church is trying to control her and she doesn't want to be a part of it and blah, blah, blah. And, you got to sell People magazine somehow. So you got to have some kind of story to put in there. But
and even for Tom Cruise, I mean, there's no such thing as bad publicity. Think about it. Everyone makes fun of him for that, but we're still talking about it. How many years later?
Yeah.
Still buying that ticket to Mission Impossible.
Yeah. His daughter's...
the last one with Henry Cavill was a great movie.
All of them have been
awesome action movie.
All of them after 3 have just been amplified.
I was going to say, I didn't like the second one.
I haven't disliked any of them.
I didn't like the second one.
John Woo movies are hit or
third
miss
one was okay,
people.
but 1 was good, but then every one after that has been amplified.
They've just gotten
better. Yeah.
And the action scenes have just gotten better. What's her name? Is it Rebecca Ferguson? Isn't that who it is? God damn it.
Tom Hanks rapes kids, though. He's a fucking piece of shit.
Allegedly.
Nope, not even allegedly. Tom Cruise is a piece of shit.
Tom Hanks, you mean?
Tom Hanks, not Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is
maybe a piece of shit.
Maybe.
He fights magic alien blood ghosts.
Who erupted from volcanoes.
Yes. Tom Hanks is a pedophile.
So, yeah, I mean, and they don't have pictures of him doing it, but all signs kind of point to
there's some creepy fucking
obvious
coincidences.
Kind of yeah. Which is just hard to believe because he's so goddamn wholesome, or seemingly so.
I don't know.
But I don't know.
It's always the ones you least expect.
I've never met the guy, and controlled perception is a very real thing. I mean,
he's got some heavy, weird shit.
Again, I get criticized for the things that I put out onto social media to try and make it seem like my life is fabricated. So how hard is it to believe that Tom Hanks is out there fabricating his wholesome image?
Yeah.
He collects typewriters.
Keep getting kicked in the nuts of life.
Right. What was that, Bruno?
Tom Hanks collects typewriters.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a weird...
It is a weird thing to collect. I agree, but he collects typewriters.
To collect,
but if I'm gonna collect, typewriters are kind of a cool
pictures
thing.
of lost gloves at places that people disappeared.
I feel like the space needed to house all these typewriters. I'm just like, ugh.
Fuck.
Well, it's
all
like
the dusting you have to do.
Cars. All those garages.
Look, it's
like
that's a very, very good point.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Or pop figures. Like we have a lot of pop figurines, but like I look at that and I'm like, I'm running out of fucking room. And it's like, so we go to the store and my kids are like showing me all these pop figures. Look at this one. This one's neat, Dad. This one's neat. And it's like I've hit my limit. I've gotten all the ones that I really like care about, and now I've just stopped caring. When I
call Drogo and Grogu. That's it.
You're good, because my wife and my kids keep on like grabbing more, but like they'll try to pitch me on ideas of them, and I'm like, no, I don't want any more.
I think we should shatter Tori's perception of what to do.
Jesus, what?
I'm sorry, sweetheart. Yeah. Do a quick Google search, because Tom Hanks was very, very intimately tied to all of that Jeffrey Epstein child abduction
he used to wear children on his hands like puppets. He's a horrible human being.
It's too bad, but
Pinocchio is loosely based on that whole island is loosely based on his experiences.
They're making a live action
it's
Pinocchio,
out and it's playing in town right now. I was just checking to make sure that we had 8 screens.
Weird guy.
And it's playing right now.
No, they're making one for Disney Plus, and Tom Hanks is playing Geppetto.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Awful.
Allegedly.
Awful.
So that's really funny.
I want to make a real boy.
I want to make a real boy.
Yes, he does.
I'm tired of fucking this wooden doll.
I'm tired of real dolls. I want real boys.
Anyway.
I'm a real boy.
We got to get him Jiminy Cricket with a chainsaw.
So I don't have much to offer up for the next topic, because I have not been able to.
You haven't watched it yet?
No.
I thought you were watching.
I watched the first, I think, 2 episodes.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna say
I started work, as you know, last month.
Cobra Kai.
I went back to work last month, and between work and the kids and juggling my schedule, and I haven't been able to.
I'll just say there's not many shows that are much better written right now than Cobra Kai.
Oh, I believe
in terms of episodic, like one to the next, they go like
if it's anywhere close to season 1.
Yeah,
it's so good.
It's just it's great. The pacing is perfect. Every episode, like even like I don't even get tired of the kid fights. Like I welcome it. I almost wondered at one point, I was like, I wonder if people are going to get up in arms about all this violence in the school, like all the violence between the kids.
Yeah.
Like I wondered if that was going to be a thing.
But it's like the Power Rangers level violence.
Yeah. The end of season 2 is a full blown
the back-breaking
in the school.
Can we talk about the decisions made about this kid's fucking hair though?
Oh,
he goes from
Johnny's
bad haircut to bad haircut.
Yeah.
And somebody
is it worse in season 3? It's not
awful.
Prince Valiant anymore.
No, they cut it up, but it still sucks.
He doesn't look like Jonathan Brandis anymore. Now he just looks kind of like a weird variation of that.
He's got all like stupid.
He has an uncanny valley face.
Yeah.
I don't mean to like be rude to the guy or anything, but he looks.
He's the kid that played. Just for the listeners' sake, he's the kid that plays Johnny Lawrence's kid, and I can't remember the actor's name,
I don't remember
or even the character's name.
He's apparently got all kinds of like body image problems.
He has,
a
very
and I feel bad for him.
Oh, the actor does?
Yeah.
Oh,
really?
sorry.
But I think half of them stem from whoever decided to cut his hair like that.
I feel really bad now.
Like,
sorry,
poor
kid, I didn't mean you look like a mannequin.
Who was like, let's do your hair like this. We're gonna make you look like He-Man in the first 2 seasons, and then we're gonna make you look like a 90s something mistake.
Hang on, I want to see this.
Yeah, they just they have like these different, like everybody else has this contemporary, like current look to him.
Yeah,
and he keeps getting these dated looks to his hairstyle.
He looked like he was from the original in the first 2 seasons, and this one he looks like he's from the next Karate
Do you
Kid.
think it's intentional?
It has to be. Somebody's making that choice for him because he's not doing it himself.
No, because I'd have painted the walls with
It's
my
not his
brains
fault.
because
I can't blame him. It's whoever decided to style him.
whoever's like sitting him down in the chair to cut that hair. Because man,
Oh, fucking spoilers! God damn it!
I was listening to a podcast with the editor for season 2 and on of Cobra Kai, and he was talking a little bit about how he got the job and how he found out about Cobra Kai and a little bit about the editing. And then I listened to his podcast where he's interviewing the producers of that show. It's pretty interesting, actually. I almost sent it to you, Ward.
yeah, do send it to me. I'd be interested to hear about it.
I will.
The fun thing that with this with Cobra Kai is Courtney Hengler, and if she ever listens, I doubt she will, but if
She's
she ever
one of
does,
the 7 people listening right now.
she's one of the only like stars that will quasi star. She's in that echelon, I guess, enough so that that will regularly at least like our tweets, but we have to like basically shower her in praise.
I did. I screwed up and pointed out how little work she gets.
Oh yeah, she did comment on yours about like, yeah, thanks for pointing out how little work I get. But it was a compliment because she really needs more. Like, I'd love to see her in other stuff.
She's talented.
I think she's immensely talented.
She has very, very convincing,
and her character's the only adult on the show.
Delivery.
Oh, I know.
Maybe Martin Cove's character. I think
Yeah.
Kreese is an adult. He's a horrible fucking
He's an adult,
person,
but he's
an
grounded in
adult.
this reality
Yeah.
that's like this.
He's definitely
He's grounded in a
karate
reality.
world.
Yeah.
And Amanda
It's just no nonsense. She just doesn't like.
Macchio.
Yeah.
I don't. What's
Ralph Macchio.
What's Dan
LaRusso.
Amanda LaRusso is like she's from our world, and she got dropped in Karate Kid world,
Yeah.
and she's
just trying to reconcile it. Yeah.
And by the time she slaps Martin Cove's character, she's finally like joined. Like, okay, I'm in ridiculous land now.
Right.
I need to be part of it.
Right.
Oh no, I think she's my favorite character. But Johnny Lawrence is my favorite fictional martial artist ever. He beats everybody ever. He's a fantastic sensei, and he's just.
I don't know, man.
I think he's awesome.
I always go back to in the season 1 when he's talking to the kid about having asthma, and he's sucking on his inhaler, and he's like, "I have asthma," and he just smacks it out of his hand and says, "Not anymore, you devil."
Not anymore.
Like, that is the most generic 80s badass thing that a person could say, and I love it. It's really, really great writing.
He's the best.
It's a really, really. I agree with what Ward said. I would be hard pressed to think of a scripted show that is currently running that would be like as
It's a tight show.
My stepmom and I were talking about it the other day because she's watched more of season 3 than I have.
I got her to watch it,
which is really odd to me.
You should have seen her face when I told her season 3 was out.
We were talking about
it. Was awesome.
And so,
well, it's like my dad. He's like, it probably wouldn't be for me. And I'm like, well, if I can talk you into watching The Walking Dead, I could get you on board with Cobra Kai.
And I told her, I said, the thing that, speaking to what you said about the tight writing, yes, it is a 30-minute show instead of the full hour like you see so many things do, but they know when to get in and get out. But every single episode of that show, it seems like I watch. It's why I watched season 1 back when it was on YouTube in literally like a day and a half.
We burned
every
through the first
episode ends
season
and you're like,
in
it's
an
been
afternoon.
a half hour? What?
Yeah.
Like it is so spectacularly well paced.
We burned through it in that day, and then the very next day we decided we were going to watch the Karate Kid movies. So we went and watched those.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you've never done that before, they're like back to back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was fine to do because they knew that LaRusso, the guy, the guy that plays LaRusso,
Ralph Macchio.
Ralph Macchio, never ages.
No.
Like he's finally started to age. Like there was one point where like in 3, he looked like he put on like 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, and I was just like, well, he just had some extra rice while he was in China or wherever they went.
And he needed the 10 pounds
anyway. Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. But when you watch these movies,
Mike Barnes is a bad motherfucker.
It becomes abundantly clear that Danny LaRusso sucks at karate.
Yeah.
And as a person, he does not
karate.
learn. He will not learn a lesson.
No.
Not one. And even in the series, he has refused to learn a lesson. And his lesson usually is this person was bad in the past. They're always going to be bad. And that's like that's his only takeaway. And that's all that's his only takeaway. He just won't learn a lesson about anything. And he refuses to learn in any of these movies. He's not good at karate.
No.
He's lucky at karate. Every scene he wins the match is pure luck.
Yeah.
The crane kick, luck. I mean, arguably that's probably the cleanest of all of them, but the rest of them he lucked into.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He and which just goes to further the argument that Johnny's character is a more redeemable and better character overall.
And William Zabka is so much better.
Dude, Billy Zabka is the shit.
As a martial artist, like it's so much more believable.
They hired him because of he got hired to be a person that knew how to do karate.
He did.
And he already had like the experience coming in.
So many fantastic like shit sci-fi channel level B movies in the 90s and like late 90s. Post
it makes me
fame.
I'm so heartened to know that he's like
so great,
got a whole new career now out of this whole thing because like
he deserves it. He's a talented guy.
Zabka
and
is greater than
even in those shit B movies like
Macchio.
Python 2. He still is.
He just didn't catch the right break.
There's a level of effort that you see people put in where they're not just phoning it in and aware that they're starring in Python 2, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. He swings for the fences every time.
For sure.
I hope Terry Silver comes back next season.
They've all but teased that that's what's happening because he was
because Alex didn't stay up he fell asleep halfway through Karate Kid Part 2. We didn't watch Karate Kid Part 3, and then they came off Netflix, which sucks.
Oh, they're off?
Yeah.
They're on IMDb, though.
Balls.
That doesn't do me any good.
If you have a Fire Stick?
Watching stuff on IMDb there's like there's more commercials on there than there are on regular TV.
And they listen, and it listens to you, so it's giving you commercials that you're like, oh. You start to think about, like, does this pertain to me? Are you talking to me? Then you start to research there was something about, because I have like a varicose vein issue. So I was talking about varicose veins. And so it sent me down a fucking rabbit hole.
What? That's weird.
I found this video that was this dude it's like 15 minutes of this dude saying how awesome Terry Silver is. And so I was like, okay, we don't need to watch Karate Kid Part 3. I can just show this to Alex. And he's like, this guy's so much like you, Dad. And I was a little older than you when Karate Kid Part 3 came out. And he's like, but he even does your laugh. And I was like, he informed most of like right when I was most impressionable. He was the coolest person in the world. And he was like,
hilarious.
It's not Dead or Alive, honey. It's Alive or Dead.
Terry Silver is like the coolest fucking person in the universe.
The chick fight movie with all the
like basically the premise of Terry Silver is I get whatever I want. I don't have any nothing that gets in my way.
And like universally petty and just I mean he's doing this for karate revenge on a couple of douchebags.
That's all you had to say. But then, I'm going to go out of my way to make their life miserable. And it's like,
I think about
who does that?
And
what can I do today to fuck up their world?
I was a millionaire, and like my buddy called me up and was like from
he
from
plays
the war was
he
and he needed
plays
something,
a character.
and I would go fuck people up and spend millions of my own dollars just to fuck with people because my war buddy needed help.
Yeah.
I totally get
Take
that.
the time to cut out letters from magazines to make like a
A
ransom
ransom.
letter type thing that says like, I know what you did, and just send it to them to make them really uneasy, like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Fuck yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. I totally understand Terry Silver, even as an adult. And this video, if you can find it on the YouTube,
That's great.
it's totally worth your 15 minutes. Because
I'll look for it.
the dude's got the background of Terry Silver's mansion, and he's in like the robe that Terry Silver's in at the beginning, and he's cutting back and forth. And I guess the character wasn't supposed to be a martial artist. He was just supposed to be a rich dude who was conniving, and Martin Kove was supposed to be the karate dude. But then they hired Thomas Ian Griffith based on his theater work. And then he's like, oh no, I'm a black belt in Tang Soo Do and fucking this other martial art. And they're like, oh great. And so they
Cool.
totally rewrote the Terry Silver character.
So he's the real life embodiment of that whole trope where everyone in the universe somehow knows kung fu.
Yeah.
Also,
He's a rich dude, but he also
Ron, you'll be happy to no. Well, I don't know if you'll be happy, but I was pleasantly surprised. Anthony Michael Hall makes a overarching appearance in the
really
Cobra Kai season 3. Yeah,
I haven't seen him in anything since
Really?
the
the
Dark
Cove's
Knight.
Cove's the guy that was over Cove. I don't know, his sergeant, his boss.
That was Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah, little hefty, huh?
Yeah.
He was in. It was
Packed on some pounds. He's not that
He
little
doesn't-
skinny rail
He
that.
doesn't look at all like even the last time I
I
saw
can't
him.
remember
Yeah.
if it was Batman.
The last time I
Begins or
saw him
Dark
was
Knight.
Batman. Was Dark Knight.
Was it the Dark Knight?
Yeah.
That was the one. He was the TV news host.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, and the kid that played
but he
Young
played that well.
Kreese.
Yeah.
is Martin Kove's son.
No. The kid that played the kid you thought was young Kreese at the table.
Uh-huh.
You remember when they were all the guy that tripped Kreese?
Uh-huh.
That is actually Martin Kove's son.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I thought the kid that
And that's
played
why, and I think it was this bait and switch. It's like, we want you to think it's this guy. But
Oh,
that was
I thought the
actually
one
that
that-
was actually his kid, and the one that played was another actor. But it was a good casting choice because they look
Yeah.
real similar at that age.
Yeah, and then they do the bait and switch on Terry Silver too. 'Cause
Yeah.
the ponytail guy. You think, oh, that's Terry Silver, and then it's not.
Right,
Like the other skeletal looking fucking
the Skeletoid. Yeah,
What a
Oh,
great fucking show.
it was. Yeah,
Yeah, I really.
I'll be rewatching
You
the
guys
whole
think
thing
you're
pretty
Tango
soon.
and Cash?
I
No,
really-
the-
I really
Tango
need
and
to get
Cash are
through.
narcotics officers.
I really need to get through season 3.
The dialogue, the dialogue alone is just some of the best stuff that you'll
Oh yeah.
come across. On to the next thing, Wonder Woman 84.
Strong opinions.
I could not stay awake.
Bruno, did you watch Wonder Woman 84?
I've not. No, I heard not good things though.
You intend
Save
to.
your time, sir.
Just watch the honest trailer.
Yeah.
I watched that today, and I
it-
feel totally vindicated.
Oh, now I need to watch that.
I'm,
yeah.
I'm not huge on those anymore. I haven't enjoyed them as much as I used to in the past. But this one,
There
was
are
both
some that are
really
some
well
that are
done,
hit and miss.
and
Ugh.
they made the joke at the, and I was really pissed because I watched it today, and it was the joke that I was going to make on the show tonight, but we all have been dealing with the COVID stuff and no wide theatrical releases and no real like big quote unquote blockbuster movie releases for so long, and we were all so desperate for it. And then Wonder Woman 84 came out, and we're all Pedro Pascal's character. Like, I renounce my wish. I don't want blockbuster movies. God damn. If they're going to be like that, like, it's,
Yeah.
Well, and what sucks is Chris
I-
Pine and Gal Gadot have so much fucking charisma.
they
that
do.
You're like
They-
this.
You're
should-
like, I want to like
This
this.
But there
has
was
no right being bad.
There
Right.
was no reason to even bring him back, except for the fact that they have good chemistry.
Did it feel a lot like almost like an 80s scripted TV show more than a movie? like paying tribute to the 80s?
I don't know.
Times.
I have a question for you guys in the same realm of Wonder Woman and the 80s and stuff. Have you guys seen the trailer to the new Marvel show, WandaVision?
Oh, dude,
Yes.
I'm super stoked for WandaVision.
jacked.
It looks good.
It looks really good.
It does look really good.
I'm really, really genuinely excited for it. I'm a big Marvel fanboy in the first place, but
Marvel doesn't seem to fuck up a lot.
they even when they stumble, it's just average. It's not bad.
Right.
And WandaVision strikes me as something like what they did with the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, where they're
Giving it a flavor.
they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and it's not gonna fit into any kind of specific mold.
But it's going to stay true to the universe.
It's gonna be its own thing, and it's when you have that level of dedication to it, of like, no, this is it's got a clear, pardon the play on words, but it's got a clear vision of they know what they want it to be, and they stick to it. And when they do that, it works really, really fucking well.
Well, there's one central overlord, quote unquote, right, which is Kevin Feige, and he's just manning everything.
Every
Then
studio probably wishes they could figure out a way to either clone or like find their own Kevin Feige. Because
he and Favreau are two of the best people at paying fan service, but without going to the extreme.
It doesn't seem. I mean, there are times where it does seem like fan service, but it's not as heavy-handed.
It's not like Abrams heavy.
No,
in the Star Wars movies.
Yeah. No, I am really.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
I'm really genuinely pumped for WandaVision. I've heard a few things that make me even more excited for it. Like, I guess they really, the first episode, they leaned so heavy into the whole sitcom idea that the first episode actually filmed in front of a live audience.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, my son tells me all this stuff because he like follows
that level of commitment
so close.
Speaks volumes to how much they care. And when you care that much, it comes through in the product.
And
it
I
really
like
does come through
so much.
Yeah.
That
they're so great.
I don't care for Vision or Wanda that much.
But Bettany
But I like Bettany and Olsen so much that I've come to care for the characters.
What interests me is
is that out yet?
The second, what's that?
WandaVision.
No, it comes out the 15th.
Sweet. We can watch
Friday.
it this weekend.
Yeah. What interests me is not only like, apparently it is going to spill very directly into the new Spider-Man movie, the new Doctor Strange movie. Like, apparently it has a lot of overarching things that are going to come from it. But like, the little girl from Captain Marvel, the little black girl that was friends with her.
Monica
Rambeau. She's in it as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
The Asian dude that was like a FBI agent or whatever from the Ant-Man movies, who was making sure that Ant-Man was on house arrest, he's in it.
Mm-hmm.
The really chesty girl from Two Broke Girls and the Thor movies.
Yeah.
She's in it.
Kat Dennings.
Yeah, Kat Dennings.
Chesty girl.
Yeah. Sorry.
I love more titties.
When they walk into the room before she does, it's what you remember her for. It's not my fault. It's her fault.
So that's Jesus's fault.
But
he blessed them titties.
Yeah. But I'm like, how are all of these people who are so tangentially related to different Marvel projects tied into this one?
Mm-hmm.
That's what interests me, is not just what's going to happen with, because obviously, I mean, Vision died, so the whole thing is going to be some form of either her altering reality or her making up her own reality. Like, I think that's kind of a given.
Slipping into madness.
Yeah.
I think.
But like, how do all these other characters who have literally fuck nothing to do with any of this stuff, how do they tie into it?
I'm glad they're leaning into her being the most, like,
she
legitimately
is the most
powerful
character.
person.
She is, hands down.
And not following through with a Captain Marvel being like, she might be the strongest. Sure, whatever. She can move fucking spaceships with her hands or whatever. I don't give a fuck. But
Wanda can literally
can alter reality.
Like,
I have nothing for Marvel. Like, I
I just don't care.
I hate that.
The girls were watching the movie
whole
the other
premise
day,
of her.
and it's so fucking dumb. And they were trying to do what James Gunn did with the Guardians movies, and they couldn't get the action to line up with the songs. The soundtrack just didn't line up the same, and so it looked hacky, and I didn't like it.
No.
And like my problem with that movie goes so far beyond just Brie Larson being a cunt that
she's really off-putting.
Yeah, I mean the shit she's been
Like,
saying about Star Wars
in person,
and-
it's remarkable how like she almost seems to try to go out of her way
To
be off-putting.
Well, and you see those interviews with her and the rest of the cast who all seem really cool together. Like the minute she got injected, it just seemed like she just it's like
a downer.
Yeah,
fucking
like let's
Debbie
throw
Downer
some
from the SNL sketch.
Let's put sandpaper on everybody's seats. And Don Cheadle, who seems like one of the coolest people in the whole universe, seems like he doesn't want to sit next to her.
Yeah.
And Chris Hemsworth, who the cast of Ghostbusters was all just sitting around, he wasn't even there. And they're all talking about how the only thing they didn't like about him was they couldn't find anything not to like about him.
Yeah.
Like, oh, god damn, he can sing too, and he can eat cake and I get fatter. Like everything about Chris Hemsworth is awesome. And he and Don Cheadle are sitting next to her, and they're both like leaned away from her. And every time she says anything, they both just seem put off. And like she's just an abrasive person. It's like putting me in a room with somebody. like fuck you, Brie Larson.
But the thing to go back to kind of go back to Wonder Woman, but to stay still on this Captain Marvel hate train, which I will gladly ride because that movie was not. It's one of my least favorite Marvel movies. The thing that amazed me so much about everybody was so up in arms, and it was such a big thing for, you saw the pictures of little girls dressed up as Wonder Woman and meeting Gal Gadot and all that stuff. And it was such a big movement for like feminism and female empowerment. And it's the first woman superhero movie, and girls can be superheroes too, and blah 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 blah. And it was it admittedly, in a lot of ways, it was actually a real thing. Like it's kind of a big deal. I get that I'm an average white male, so it doesn't speak to me.
The first one felt that way though,
that is
up until the
thing.
Third act when it turned into a trash superhero movie.
The third act, it just turned into a let's fight a big CG monster thing. Like it was not great. But the sequel is, you have shitty Kristen Wiig character who is like maybe gay for Wonder Woman, but we can't go over the top and say that she is, but she's jealous of the fact that she can wear heels. And the whole central crux of her character is literally just middle school girl level bitchy jealousy.
Well, I can get on that train because I'm jealous of how pretty Gal Gadot is.
Well, I mean, everybody should be. She's like borderline physically
Well, that was
perfect.
that was, I think, intended to be the takeaway from the 80s type theme.
You go from...
That's a good point.
That is a good point. But you go from this female empowerment like charge of the whole first movie to the second movie literally spitting in the face of it, of like, no, forget the female empowerment. We want petty bitches. Wonder Woman's only goal is to be with a man that she loves. And like
some dick she got 80 years ago.
It is so far removed from the idea of what the whole first movie stood for.
And you know what they did? They empowered Patty Jenkins.
That's what I was just going to say, is they let Patty Jenkins write it.
That's what happens when you empower females.
She didn't write the first one. She just directed it.
Sorry. I'm gonna get us banned from
they let her handle the story for the second one.
Yeah.
And look what happened.
And she's obviously got some insecurities instilled by toxic male Hollywood.
Most definitely.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Most definitely.
Poor Patty Jenkins. That's not on her. That's male Hollywood's fault.
Is it Linda Carter?
Yeah.
Did she make the guest appearance at the end?
Mm-hmm.
Did that feel really, 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 really forced?
That could not have been more forced.
Linda Carter was my very first love.
Boy, I didn't.
So you take that back.
She was.
I
one
didn't
of,
at all.
She
I
was
didn't
one
even
of my
see it.
first crushes, but yeah, it couldn't have been.
When I was dealing
Like-
blackjack in Vegas, we had a Wonder
They
Woman.
might as well have had her walk onto the stage and just be like, "I was Wonder Woman too."
We-
Yeah.
we had a Wonder Woman slot
I
machine
played her
across
once.
from me,
They have them at the
and it
casino.
played all the time.
Wonder
I would work
Woman.
a 10-hour shift, and it would play, and it made my whole fucking night.
I play the Wonder Woman slot machine at the Clearwater Casino.
That's awesome.
Largely because it's one of the few machines that I can actually win at, but also because I stare at Linda Carter the entire time that I'm losing money.
Wonder Woman.
They play the
Look
theme
how-
song and everything. It's fucking
By the
great.
way, back
That's
to
a
this
good
Helles.
pour.
Look how clean
That is a good pour.
That's a
that
clean beer.
looks.
Oh god, it's already 8:15. I was going to say I should have one more, but it's getting late.
I have
Uh-oh.
one more.
Okay. I'll have one more, please.
We got a few things to march through.
yeah.
Do you want another
No,
Helles, or
I-
do you want the Helles are the big ones? Do you want a
No.
normal bottle?
Yeah, normal bottle. No, I honestly,
These are the Irish Reds.
So we have Bruno. We have a little group chat between the three of us
Yeah,
that we do for prep work for the show and everything. That we just kind of bounce ideas off of each other all week long, and and these guys had both watched Wonder Woman prior to me watching it. And I had already heard all of the negative things that you have obviously heard about it as well. And they,
still watched it.
Ward referred to it as digital narcolepsy at one point in our conversation.
And I only made it 20 minutes in.
I will tell you, having been warned by them and still watching it, if I could take the decision back, I would. Save yourself the time. Definitely don't watch it.
That's good to know.
So many other good things to watch on HBO Max.
Right,
Dude, so much.
this new one coming up, the
I
little
fell asleep
things.
to Batman the Animated Series last night.
Have you
Dude,
seen?
that's my problem. Is like there's just so much to watch. I can't watch everything.
Yeah.
We've been watching old episodes of Stargate because
Yeah,
one
SG-1,
because
we've talked about
because
this,
there
yeah.
is so much to watch, but then there's also like what to watch. Like
Yeah.
what is it that I'm gonna like lock into? I mean, I make appointments for things like Cobra Kai and Succession when it comes back
Did you
on.
watch that History of Swear Words thing on Netflix?
I've watched
It was pretty funny.
a couple of them so far.
Disappointing.
It wasn't what I was expecting
It
it
was
to
not
be.
what I was expecting. It was like one of those the VH1. You remember when they used to do the I love the 90s and
Yeah.
I love the 80s?
But I do like those.
I do too. to
Where's
an
Hal
extent.
Sparks though?
Yeah, where's your Hal
Yeah.
Sparks?
I wasn't
Um,
going to watch it because I didn't care.
I was.
Jenny
it was-
decided to watch it.
It was
and
okay.
she's like, let's watch it.
It
And I was
hooks
like,
you
okay.
enough.
It was
And she was
okay.
like, you probably already know all this. And I was like, yeah, probably. And then, the first one is fuck. And I was like, yeah, that comes from, the old Middle English German frickin' to strike. And she was
Yeah.
like, really? And I was like, yeah. And then it came up and it said it was from Norwegian. But
My
like, all that
grandma,
shit's the same
and my
root.
grandma tried to tell me for undue carnal knowledge long ago, like when we were
Yeah.
first married or something like that.
Yeah. Or fornication under
under
Yeah.
the king.
command of the king.
Yeah, there was that one
Consent to
too,
the
but
king.
there was
Or
for
consent to the
undue
king.
carnal knowledge was something I think that she thought was bandied about in the 1800s over
That was
here.
a Van
Yeah.
Halen album.
It was.
Was
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Or
For
except
unlawful
like,
carnal
unlawful
knowledge.
carnal knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
But
yeah, and people believe that shit.
yeah, they'll just
And-
if someone says it, especially before Wikipedia.
Yeah.
So
So it did. It ended up all being shit that I already knew.
yeah,
And
and a lot of relatively useless commentary from like C-list comedians.
and I'm pretty convinced that every actor, when they get their Oscar, that solidifies the rest of their career. Look at Nicolas Cage has that operatic style.
Mhm.
He didn't do that until he did Moonstruck. And then after that, everything was like that. Every single role he did after that was that huge, like totally
Bigger than life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Did he
that's
get the
true.
Oscar for Moonstruck?
Yeah.
He got one for Leaving Las Vegas too, though, didn't he?
Yeah. And
You
that
could
was
say-
the only time
yeah.
I think he ever altered
I
that.
thought so.
And
I could be wrong, but I thought he got one.
Pacino's the same way because
Pacino
he's
got
latched
his
onto
for-
that.
Hoo-ah!
Right.
His whole fucking blind colonel bullshit. Yeah. And after he got his Oscar for that, everything he did was
It's all been that since then, or some variation of that.
Some variation of him
there's no
yelling
subtle.
in every.
There's no, like Michael Corleone. You watch Dog Day Afternoon, more subtle roles.
Yeah,
he's more subtle.
Even Glenn Ross.
Yeah,
he had some control. There was some definite in your face. There was some development toward what later Colonel, whatever his face was going to be, but
it was less. It was more delicate, and and now it
was less
so.
bull in the china shop. And the only time it was probably justified.
Tom Hanks does that too with the stuff that he does. He plays Tom Hanks playing, whatever he's playing, whatever.
And I don't think Al Pacino's like that in real life.
No, I think he's seems pretty reserved.
Somebody was doing an interview and talking about dating Al Pacino, and she said that you couldn't date Al Pacino because he was married to acting, and she dated him before Scent of a Woman, which he got the Oscar for.
Oh,
and she said he was totally married to acting. He had nothing else in the world that he loved, and he was supposed to get the Oscar like 2 years before for some other role, and he didn't get it. And then Scent of a Woman was his. Kind of like Denzel Washington was supposed to get it for something else.
It's basically the courtesy Oscar.
He should have got it for Philadelphia.
Should have got it for this. We're going to give it to you now.
And
for
then he got it for Training Day.
Yeah.
And there were 100 other roles that Denzel Washington probably should have gotten it for. And because Training Day is not a movie I go back to. No, it's a good movie.
Whoa, I was going to say Training Day is good.
But
no, it's not bad.
Not his best
it's not bad, but it's not one that I'm like, let's watch Training Day because of the Oscar.
I mean, you look at
and
you look at
what you're saying.
Man on Fire. Man on Fire is probably my favorite movie.
Equalizer, honestly.
Equalizer is
straightforward, great. Just badass action movie.
Yeah.
Speaking of, has John Goodman ever pulled an Oscar?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but he deserves. He deserves.
There's another dude.
He almost deserves
for the Big Lebowski.
He almost deserves like a lifetime Best Supporting Actor Oscar.
Yeah,
really. I mean, Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah,
at best. If they don't give him something
that Anthony Hopkins got one for 20 minutes for Silence of the Lambs. He should have got one for the 20 minutes that he spent in Flight, because that was awesome.
Yeah.
Every second that he was on screen in Flight was amazing.
I thought he did really good in The Gambler.
Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm.
That was
he was the only good thing about The Gambler.
Yes, he was.
Was him. That's it. There was nothing else good about it.
Marky Mark and just about everything he's in, but The Gambler was not a great movie. But
no,
and every minute John Goodman was on screen.
There's nothing that I've seen John Goodman in that really like.
Fallen is another.
He
elevated.
John
Goodman was in.
That's what made me bring it up was his character in Fallen, because like the second he's possessed by the serial killer or whatever it was,
whole demeanor change.
Yeah, and he like that sold prior to anybody else doing that, he sold me on it.
Yeah.
What's the one with is it Primal Fear? With
Edward Norton, Gene Hackman,
Richard Gere, where Ed Norton at the end of the movie just has that entire like it's that
he invented the slow clap.
You
with
actually
that movie.
Look like the mannerisms change. Like you don't. That's impressive acting.
Yeah, it is.
Where it's subtle in ways that you wouldn't even notice.
He's another one that I'd like to be in a movie but not ever have to work with.
I've heard he's really, really.
He seems neurotic.
Yeah. But speaking of the Oscars, because it's something that you have up here.
Oh yeah.
And
it's a Denzel Washington movie.
It's coming to
we're nearing Oscar season.
In Oscar time, Oscar season. You know,
what was our year like? Because so far, I don't see a whole lot of candidacy out there for Oscar contenders.
Yeah.
Tenet's gonna win everything.
Yeah,
It'll finally get Christopher Nolan.
It's like the only movie that came out, so they're gonna win everything.
You know what? Well, I have on my list The Devil All the Time. That's the only one that stands out to me as one that would
that was so
fit
good.
Fit that caliber of Oscar contention.
Yeah.
And then this new trailer that we just watched for the Denzel Washington
But
one,
that doesn't
all
come
the
out
little
until
things.
after.
That doesn't come out until after.
That'll be a next year contender.
Yeah.
Does it fall outside of the window?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The window is
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah, the
window is December 31st.
December 31st, yeah.
Okay.
Which is weird that they didn't release it.
I'm sure
prior.
Will...
Well, and Denzel Washington's pissed because it's going out on HBO. From what I understand,
Yeah.
he's not happy.
There's a lot of people that are pissed about that kind of stuff.
But I'm eating it right up because
Me too. I'll watch the fuck out of it.
It fucks with their residuals. If
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
what I was going to say.
mistaken.
A lot of the people who are in Denis Villeneuve's Dune are pissed about it not going to theaters because part of their contract is back end residuals off of the box office. So if it doesn't go to theaters, they potentially lose a healthy chunk of money. And a lot of actors you'll see, like Robert Downey Jr., when he took on the Iron Man role, he deliberately took less money up front so that he could get residuals off the box office. And that's where he made, the fucking billion.
Well, that's the
fuck you money.
That's the formula.
Definitely.
That's the formula that
I can make Doolittle money.
Right.
I can't believe they pushed so hard to make that pile of shit.
That's a formula that you can't adhere to anymore. They're going to have to abandon.
They're going to have to adapt to it.
And they can bark about it, but they wouldn't have made any fucking money. Have you looked at Reddit, like on any of the respectable subreddits? Like the people's absolute fear of any public gathering or not wearing masks or any of that shit. Like I get it if you have to wear it to work for whatever because work makes you do it or work has insurance things they have to qualify. But like just going to a restaurant or whatever, like fuck you. Fuck you. I'm not wearing a mask. You can eat my fucking ass.
I have
well, they won't because they want to wear that mask.
They can put up a dental dam. I don't give a shit.
I have a friend who we are very close friends, but there are a few things COVID related that we don't necessarily see eye to eye on. And he is
brown eye to brown eye.
I guess you would say, like, he's a musician. He's in a band. He gets paid to play music at venues and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he's a big fucking $1 million recording artist or anything like that. But he has spoken several times during this pandemic about how much he misses playing live music and how he and his band don't practice currently because he doesn't think that it's smart for them to all be, the 4 of them or the 3 of them to be crowded together in a room without masks on. And I'm like, I think that is, as I sit in a room with 3 guys without masks on and none of us are 6 feet apart, I think that's taking it to an unhealthy level. Like, are any of you sick? Do any of you have any symptoms? Have any of you been around somebody who had COVID lately? If you haven't, then what is stopping you from getting together and practicing?
It's not even that. It's like, dude, you're a musician. You can just put a mask on and play your instrument.
Yeah. Right. If you're not the singer,
he sings backup vocals, but when you're practicing, who cares if your backup vocals are coming through a mask?
Exactly.
It seems, I hate to say it, and for the first time in the history of the show, I'm going to hope that he's not listening, because I am kind of calling him out on it. But like I said, I'm sitting in a room with 3 guys right now who none of us have masks on, and I've been doing it every 2 weeks for the majority of the pandemic. If I had a fever, or if I was like sickly, I've canceled on shows before. Like, sorry guys, I've got a fever. I've got the wicked shits. I can't come.
Yeah. If I was sick, I just wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't be here. But if I'm not, the only thing that is stopping you,
I'd phone in from my basement because I can do that.
Your own decision to be like, no, I don't think it's a good idea.
And here's the other thing too. It's like you saw this a lot with, especially the holidays. It's like, oh, I'm not going to my parents or my in-laws or whatever because we don't want to spread it. It's like, guys, the tests are practically free. If you guys get tested and they get tested and everyone is negative, then you're negative.
Then what's the worry?
That's like, yeah, what are you worried about?
Yeah, no, there are a lot of people who, and I use him as that example of like, well, it's not a good idea for us to get in a crowded basement and collaborate. It's like, okay, if none of you are sick, you're not worried about spreading anything. There's nothing to spread.
And they've already done a study.
What's the fucking problem?
That asymptomatic spread is not a thing.
So
if you're not sneezing, if you're not feverish, if you're not coughing, you're not spreading it.
It doesn't add up to me. It seems like
it seems a little excessive. And that's the problem. It's like, things get taken to the extremes.
Well, and then if you're in the position where you're like, it seems excessive, and then someone's like, well, does that mean you don't care?
Bruno wants people to die.
No, it's like Hudds just said about if you look at some of the discussions on Reddit.
Yeah, you can't be one or the other, or land somewhere in between.
You cannot say anything at all in some of those online communities about not wearing a mask without people blowing you the fuck up.
Yeah,
and
so. It's funny you guys bring that up, and when we got to these next topics, I was going to bring this up. It was a podcast I actually listened to today, where this guy was commenting on the the whole thing at the Capitol building.
Oh yeah,
and he was saying how like we have gone to extremes, and it's like, if you even say one thing against one side, they automatically think you're completely against them and you're on the other side. Like, no.
There is no middle ground.
There is middle ground, and these people think there's no middle ground.
Yeah.
Like, you're either with me or against me. Like, what are you saying?
You can't say, well, they were gathering to protest without people being like, oh, so you support the complete insurrection. Country. Or you can't say, yeah, no, what they did was really wrong, without being like, oh, it wasn't wrong. Look at
exactly. Like, what are you, some little snowflake? Like, bro, relax.
Yeah,
relax.
There is no middle ground in a lot of those.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is frightening. And you see, one of the things that I've seen a lot of, especially on Reddit over the last couple days since this whole Capitol thing happened, was quite literal. There's no other way to describe it. Witch hunts, where people are openly like, I'm going to find pictures of this person.
I heard about that.
With everyone that I can.
Dox them.
Hopes that we can find this one person who was spotted at the Capitol. Look at how many people have been fired or, blacklisted.
Yeah. People are getting doxxed. They're getting doxxed. Like their information is being published online.
Yeah.
And getting their lives ruined. Well, look, in one perspective, I'm like, you get what you deserve. In the other side, I'm like, wow, that kind of sucks. Like, your information could just be made public that easily.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Fun fact. I don't know if you guys saw, there's video floating
like if I'm
around.
Big enough of an asshole.
Yeah.
Then
there's video floating around, and it's really uncomfortable to watch because you actually see her get shot. But the girl who got shot.
Oh, I saw it.
Okay, so you saw the video? That girl who got shot.
She deserved it. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, she absolutely deserved it. She graduated with one of my best friends.
Holy shit, dude.
Was in his graduating class at El Capitan High School in San Diego, California in 2003.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's fucking nuts. That's a little surreal, man.
Don't break out windows of the Capitol building.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like, what are you
How about
thinking?
the lady that got trampled that had the "Don't tread on me"?
Yeah,
that's perfect.
I love the irony. The irony behind it, because it's like there's nothing to do but laugh at that point.
Yeah,
like you can't ask me to feel bad.
The thing that
you can't
in
not wearing that shirt
in the Civil War era, when the Confederates were stumping real hard for, separating themselves from the United States. Do you think
that's a real
It's
Nice
crazy.
way to put it.
Well, yeah, I'm
Stumping real hard.
I'm being delicate here.
You know, that was about
do you-
debt and
do
not
you-
about slavery.
Yeah, it was a lot more about a lot of things than it was slavery.
Yeah. They like to push the slavery angle, but it was mostly about
it was slavery was just part of it. But
debt.
do you think that those people back then, they were willing to die for their cause? Now,
no one that breached the Capitol was willing to die for their cause.
no, now you have people who are like, we're going to go do this. We're going to try and no, Matthew, I cannot show you that because it is a woman literally getting shot in real life. No, I love you. I'm sorry, but no, I'm not going to show you that. I wish I hadn't seen it because it's really disturbing. But now you have these people who are like, okay, we are going to storm the Capitol. We are going to breach police barricades. We are going to, one of the DC police officers was trampled to death.
He was hit with a fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
He died of
the expectation.
Okay.
I feel like the expectation was a photo op.
Well, look at how many of them were on their phones while they were doing it. Yeah,
right.
Obviously.
Or the lectern pose and the shit and the fucking Simpsons one.
But then these people, they go and do this, and any kind of retaliation that they face. Oh, she wasn't a domestic terrorist. She was voicing her freedom. She didn't deserve to die. You're trying to have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
You're trying to claim that you are taking a basically live or die stand against what you believe in. But then the consequences when they don't shake out in your favor. Well, that's not fair. Well, I'm protected by this. And it's
somebody
like, no,
had said,
you're fighting against being protected by that, you dumb fuck.
I saw something. Somebody said these people thought they were going to go in there and grab up some senators and then just go back to work.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Yeah,
I did not understand what they were doing.
No, they didn't.
I don't think this was
that they were going to go in there and grab up some people. Did you see that video that I shared? Like, they were just walking around. Like, they didn't know. They weren't.
I would say probably 70% of the people, maybe even more, maybe closer to 80, were just kind of following orders.
They were just there.
Because
but you also don't go to the Capitol building with pipe bombs,
right?
With no intent. I
mean, sure,
but I don't think most of those people were pipe bombers either.
No, most of them weren't. There was
most
probably
of those people
two
probably
for
should
every
not have
100.
been anywhere near there.
They have a person that they admire. Unfortunately, who is
telling them, "Hey, we're all going to get
raccoons on his
unstable
head.
Individual." But he is really like it's amazing to me how much thought he feels with people.
It's
it's astounding that he can say something and
Barack
it just
Obama didn't resonate to black communities the way that Trump resonates to like moderately to severely
this
racist
is.
white people.
whatever they are.
It's really kind of crazy the way that he fuels
them.
He
woke up this fucking sleeping giant is insane.
It's really, really nuts.
And I think that's probably for me the hardest part to reconcile with is like they're these weird. It's this weird faction of people, and it feels almost unrealistic how weird and out there that they are. Like it just feels like I don't know. It does feel manufactured to a degree.
It all felt so scripted.
Very, very scripted. Like you said, it seemed very much like a work.
Yeah.
Yeah. To borrow the wrestling phrase.
Because and I'm not putting that on any particular party. I just feel like it could be completely tied to that group of people. They could be that fucking stupid.
Well, okay. Okay. I'm gonna stop you right there.
Okay.
Because yes, I 100% believe that it actually is just that simple fact of people being that stupid. And the example I'm going to give is I was speaking to my ex-wife's grandma this week. And I've spoken to people who just seem that fucking thick. She has a very pretty consistent policy of not talking politics in her house, which I really, really like.
Oh yeah, that's admirable.
But the Capitol thing came up, and
And why wouldn't it?
I was talking about the whole, the whole thing, like he was encouraging people to come for several weeks prior to. Like,
yeah, I mean, he's been priming.
This was. I don't want to necessarily say
And not
organized.
He's been tickling that taint for.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily. This is that beautiful
imagery.
Alliteration.
Tickling the taint. There's an
Tickling the
episode
taint. I
title.
like
Exactly.
that. Alliteration there. But I don't know that I want to use the word organized, because it did seem very disorganized. Like you said, most of the people that were there seemed like they were just there.
They didn't even know what they showed up. Like they showed up to Trump's thing that day, and it was like, and he put that out there, and it's like, okay,
so we're gonna go do this now. But she and I were talking about it, and she's not to the extent of what you think of when people use the phrase Trumper, where they're just like blindly ignorant and support him unequivocally. But she made the statement when we were talking about the transition into Biden being president. She said, it just seems to me like all the Democrats have done from the moment that he got in the presidency was try to figure out a way to make sure that he didn't win the next one.
Yeah, that's
and I was like, yeah, that's their fucking
That's the point.
That's the whole fucking point. What are you talking about? Like,
well, let's just see what happens.
Yeah, they're not. They want the presidency to further their agendas. They are not just going to be like, well, he won. Shucks. Like,
you don't think the next 2 years are gonna drive fucking Republicans fucking bonkers, because they're gonna get so much fucking shit done in the next 2 years before the next primary.
I couldn't believe
or they're going to try to, but there's still some Democrat, because it's like what 50-50 now, House and Senate.
Ish.
There's a chance you might be seeing the end of the Republican Party.
Yeah.
If a lot of this shit is true that's being said, right? And how like some Republicans were involved in all this and everything, you might be seeing the end of the party.
Yeah.
Which is kind of scary in a way.
And you're
what are you now going to be, a one-party system? That's
right. You're
borderline dictatorship.
It's not borderline. It is dictatorship.
Well, it's just like one party this way and slightly the other way.
You're not just seeing the, as we talked about earlier, right as we were going live when I was discovering the talks about the impeachment stuff, you're not just seeing the potential guilty parties of the Republicans that were involved, but you're seeing more Republicans deliberately like, I don't feel that way, like
right
themselves from it.
Yeah, more and more are getting on board with the impeachment idea.
Yeah, they're, whether or not they're a Republican, be damned, they're taking at least enough of a stance to be like, nope, I don't have anything to do with that.
Well, and I feel like the party themselves have kind of divorced themselves from Trump.
They have
from
there's a lot of
moment that it
actual Republicans, because he's not really a Republican.
No, which is why I think he lost, was because the Republican Party really divorced themselves from him.
Yeah, he's not, because he never was a Republican.
No,
he was a Democrat until 96, 97, and then he made that speech in 94. When he said if I was going to run for president, I'd run as a Republican, because fucking you can get those people to vote for anybody.
Yeah, I mean they jumped on board to anything.
You just got to say the right thing.
So that objection thing the other day on agreeing to the objection, there was 122 Republicans that jumped, and there might have been a couple more after that, but so I had sent a message. I didn't send it to our team, but I sent a message to a friend of mine. I said, I find it confounding that 122 people in our Congress eat their own shit at dinner every night. Because, like, I mean, say what you will about the results of the election, we've gone through the fucking motions at this point, to the extent that we're able to go through the motions.
Right.
I still hold. I will die on the hill. I firmly believe in the idea of election tampering in terms of like influencing.
If this election was tampered with, then the previous one was tampered with exponentially.
Well, that's my point. It's like, is there election tampering? I'm sure there is, but it's not like it's one-sided. I'm sure both parties do it. You know, don't be mad. One party did it better than you did.
It's a collusive effort on both sides. Nobody's above.
I also refuse to believe that Biden got 81 million votes.
I don't.
I don't believe
I
that.
don't.
I don't think he's more popular than Obama.
I don't think it has anything to do with popularity.
Yeah, it's not.
All it has to do with is you took arguably the most. Okay, so look at how
it was like a record. Wasn't it a record-setting turnout?
It was a record-setting turnout, not just for Biden winning. Trump in losing got more votes.
Right.
Obama got when he won.
Trump got more votes losing than he got when he won. The thing is look at how many people voted for Trump purely on the basis of, I don't care, I won't vote for Hillary.
Exactly. And this election was the same thing, but reversed.
Was build that number up to the point, all of those mail-in ballots, there were people who didn't give a fuck about the presidency or about voting who could wait to not vote for Trump.
Or vote for Trump.
They were not
There
voting.
were still ones that wanted to vote for him, too.
There were. But these were not people who were like, oh, I want Joe Biden. Joe Biden's going to fix this. They were people who were literally frothing at the mouth to get
Trump out. Yeah.
That's the only reason why.
Exactly.
I don't think, unless you deal with in the future a president who is this disliked or as revered as, I don't know who's,
and why not
who's the most recent, like, truly revered president?
Eisenhower, JFK, Reagan. There's some people who like to suck Reagan's
There was a lot of people who really were hard up.
They're dismantling Reagan, though.
They are
in more recent years. But
the whole war on drugs thing that Nancy put together was a real shit show. But I mean,
Obama will have a legacy at some point.
Obama was pretty fucking revered, minus the whole show us your birth certificate thing.
Right.
But unless you get another president who elicits that strong of an opinion, whether it be them revering him or them hating him.
Well, fuck, Roosevelt had 3.5 terms, and he only didn't have 4 because he died.
Yeah. I don't think you'll see this level of voter turnout again for a while.
I hope not.
I really don't. I don't think it had anything to do with tampering. I really do think it just had to do with people could not.
They'll run a milquetoast Republican candidate for the next election. They're not going to run anybody that's dangerous or fuck that. It's been
just somebody really soft and non-threatening,
maybe, but then again, maybe not. Maybe what they want to go to is they want to adhere to the way the party is structured right now. I think
with Biden's age factoring into
rally around.
Biden will not survive his term.
Maybe they want someone. Maybe they want someone in between.
They need him to survive 2 years, and then she can take over halfway through, and then carry 2 terms of her own.
Right.
They want him to.
They want him to have. They want her to have 10 years. That's the idea. The thing I've heard bandied about is he runs for 2 and then he steps down because he's too. I'm losing my mind.
I'm losing my faculties. I can't reasonably enforce the duties of the presidency.
Right.
But that's scary though, because that also sets precedents.
It does.
Right.
Yeah.
But they don't care at this point.
Yeah.
It's all been like for the last 4 years or probably 12 years more, it's been a show. It's
and that's the problem. That's
Obama
all a show.
Campaign because of all the backlash that Bush got.
And who was he?
I was young when it happened.
Like really?
Right.
I was young when it happened, but I firmly believe that the presidency has really truly been a dog and pony show since Bill Clinton played the saxophone on MTV.
Oh, I agree, and it's well, we talk. I had this in the notes as well.
What's up, young people? I'm cool. All I think of is Steve Buscemi on 30 Rock. What's up, fellow kids?
The 50-50 divide that we have right now feels in large part manufactured due in part to fucking like gerrymandering and stuff like that, but also just in how we kind of orchestrate the elections.
Well, I always go back to the night that Obama was first elected. And if you want to look any further, I was watching the TV with my parents.
How close was the Obama election, though? What was his margin?
Oh gosh, I don't know. All I know is that I was watching.
I feel like everyone since
The
him.
first one or the second one?
The first one.
I'm gonna look it up. What was that? 2000.
Look it up. But yeah, because that was when he ran against McCain and Palin.
I didn't vote in that one. I was in Iraq.
I didn't vote in that one either.
And I knew Idaho would go for McCain,
but
so my vote wouldn't have been
I was
counted.
watching.
No matter who
I've always had this real fucking pissy attitude about Electoral College.
It was pretty. I feel the same about Electoral College, but it was pretty close. It was 69 million to 59 million.
Yeah.
And oh shit, actually, Obama demolished with the Electoral College. He got 365 to John McCain's 173.
Yeah, Sarah Palin was a mistake.
Oof,
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I would say the Palin thing played into that.
Was a really, really bad play on their part.
But that was the first evidence of their trying to shake up that party.
But I watched. Yeah. I was watching the night of, and I was watching MSNBC. And as they were announcing the electoral votes and saying, yeah, no, it's a guarantee Obama is going to be our first black president, so on and so forth, they had fucking balloons drop from the ceiling like somebody just won on The Price is Right. Like it was a big celebratory thing. And then you push channel down one button on your TV remote and it switches to Fox News. And these people all were already talking about how the next 4 years were going to spell the death of America. They all looked like somebody had just shot their dog in front of them.
It's because balloons are cheap,
like
man.
It's
and so's helium, really.
Okay,
in the grand scheme of things.
There you go. My 11-year-old son is smart enough to understand. He'll be 12 in May.
The Electoral College is dumb. It's antiquated and it's
way
so outdated.
Yes. It is.
And, popular vote needs to be the way. And
No. See, I can't agree with you there. Popular vote can't be the way. Not the way it's set up right now.
Well,
it would be completely unfair to the rest of the country. New York and California would win every year, every time.
Not govern.
Oh,
the
you're right.
whole
That's
country
true.
Based on those two cities.
So, what do you reallocate where the Electoral College votes come from?
Gerrymandering plays into that too.
Well, no, you would still it would be off of citizens' votes, right? But it's not based off of I vote for candidate A. It's like I vote for A, then B, then C. You get what I'm saying? And it's like the first one to go.
Netflix did a series about this.
The first one to get to majority or whatever it is wins. But that doesn't really work in a two-party system because there's only technically two parties. I mean, there's more parties, but you only really know about the Democrats. The
third party really needs to come into the forefront.
We were barely a fart in this.
Yeah, it was bad. I voted libertarian.
There were some people running their fucking mouths like, "Oh, you shithead libertarians who didn't vote for Trump cost us the election." No, we didn't.
No.
I actually got the reverse. Like if a vote for anyone besides Biden is a vote for Trump, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I got that. I heard that.
What are you talking about?
But the thing is, we're all for sitting here right now, and we're in that third party category. And what I think is probably the most troubling is most of America is probably in that third party category. They just don't really realize it.
Yeah,
and a lot of people,
they're too afraid to vote in the third party because of the like they don't want the other person to win. So instead of voting for the party they want, they vote against the party they don't want.
Right.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was saying about the thing with Hillary and Trump.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem.
They didn't vote for Trump. They voted against Hillary.
Yeah.
And they didn't vote for Biden. They voted against Trump.
Well,
because
and if
that's
people
where the presidency has gotten to now.
Against
is
that
it's not
person
for voting
and went libertarian.
It's just like a sports game.
It's not voting for who you want in. It's for voting for who you don't want.
Yeah.
Is what it's become.
And that's why.
And that's
what Bruno was saying about there being like, my secondary vote goes to this person. Then you've got. Okay, well, everybody's somehow.
It's a more clever algorithm to get
to
the.
Ended up getting across the finish line because it was their second choice.
Yeah,
right.
Because God, I'll vote for this guy, but my second choice is is Gary Johnson, because Governor Johnson was an all right fucking.
And
candidate.
that would have put Joe Jorgensen in there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I was thinking
most definitely.
The first.
I think it may have put other candidates further ahead, much further ahead than what they were at.
Yeah, there were. I mean, Kanye got.
I'll take Joe Biden, but I like Andrew Yang.
votes in this county.
Right.
Kanye fucking West in Nez Perce County.
Right.
Yeah.
Got 157 votes.
I remember after the election happened, you see people posting like, this state had this many votes for Kanye, and boy, thank goodness I'm not in that state. And it's like, well, your state actually didn't have Kanye on the ballot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which is something I learned this election, which is kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
I'm fucking 32 years old, and I'm learning now that not all candidates appear on all ballots, which to me is fucking mind-boggling.
Doesn't that confuse the shit out of you?
Yeah.
Like I'm running for the president of the United States, all 50 states, but I have to register in all 50 states. This is a federal thing. Why do I have to register in 50 states? That makes it impossible for anyone who wants to make a real, actual change difference to run. Because who the fuck can afford to pay staff to register in all 50 states and know the laws for all 50 states? That's crazy.
And Idaho's one of the easy ones, and it costs $1,000.
And there's costs associated with that. I didn't even think there were costs associated to register. I thought it was just like, you got to pay lawyers to know what to do. And
not only do I have to do it,
if it's only 50,000 or only 1,000 a state, that's 50,000, and we know it's not only 1,000 a state.
No. And who's got $50,000 like that?
Right.
Yeah. Who has that money to just drop?
Let's say best case scenario, it costs you $1,000 a state, and you could do it yourself. It's $50,000. There's not a lot of people.
But again,
who could just dish out 50,000?
There's no fucking way it is 1,000 in California,
right?
And so you lie to your kids.
What's probably 10?
You tell your kids, "Oh, you can grow up to be president someday." Like, fuck, no, you can't. You just can't. I'm sorry,
dude.
You need to go fucking wash assholes in every state.
There are how many?
And find somebody to fund your fucking campaign, because that's how you make that shit happen. You
and adopt a party that will actually make it.
And you have to go blue or red.
Over the last fucking 100 years on the planet, and there have been how many presidents? You've got a better chance of looking your child in the eye and saying, you are going to be on a Super Bowl winning football team.
Yeah.
That's more believable promise to your child than telling them, no, you can grow up and be president.
Yeah.
Or
by the end of the month, we'll have had 46.
Like, seriously.
Yeah. 46. That's not even a full football team, is it?
I was going to say, no, it's not. There are
dudes on a
53 players on an NFL roster.
Okay.
57 for the expanded COVID year, but yes. You can't even field a full football team with the president.
Yeah. Even as a necromancer. No. She counted.
It would have been a hell of a wide receiver, though.
Going back to the candidates, really, there were only 3 candidates in the race, which were the Republicans, Democrats, and the Libertarians. All the other people had no shot. They're essentially just like trying to get some kind of momentum for maybe in the future, down the line. Who knows how many decades from now?
And I think she pulled a 1.6%.
It was bad. It was like, I checked previous years, and she's pretty bad for the last few elections. It's pretty low.
Yeah, libertarians are never well, and it's not like our platform is great. And I've said this several times in the chat. Our platform is basically just leave me alone.
Yeah,
and
it's not one that's easy to sell to the American people.
And it should be.
And the thing too is like, libertarians run a lot on, no taxes, and that's a little hard to pull, Like I'm not for no taxes, right? That's a little absurd.
Yeah, I can't jump fully on.
I like having roads and shit. Like, infrastructure is
right. Exactly.
Yeah,
I like that I was able to get an education up to high school.
Maybe not all taxation is theft. Maybe
not all taxation is theft. A lot of it may be, but
right.
I really like having roads and like a public water system. That's really great.
George Washington.
I don't know, for the utilities, we pay for that shit. Like the roads I get, but the utilities, the garbage pickup, we pay separately for that.
Dude, I would want
no, absolutely, yeah, that's separate.
That's strategic military mind.
But yeah, like I'm totally for roads. I'm and the interstate highway system. I back that shit.
That's shit we need.
But lots of this stuff,
and even like the money that candidates spend on promoting themselves. Like that should not be privately raised money. That should be like there's a percentage of taxpayer money that gets allocated evenly amongst the different candidates,
quote unquote serious candidates, ones that have worked their way up.
German Supreme,
right?
Sure, and then it's like this is what you're allotted, and use this wisely, and may the best person win.
That kind of stuff should absolutely be forced to be an even playing field.
Yeah, I agree.
It shouldn't be we've got more money so we can spend more money kind of thing.
Right.
That's not a level playing field at all.
Well, and there's a point where the money only gets you so much because Bloomberg spent more than anybody, and his campaign was an abortion.
It was.
It was
an
before it even
stillbirth,
before the sperm even entered the egg.
Yeah. Somebody
he pulled out on her stomach. Is what that was. It wasn't even.
He was shooting blanks.
But that was another one like that. Apparently, that was just to pull all of the.
It was a misdirect, basically, to pull the attention away from Trump.
Yeah.
Well, and was he running as a Democrat?
I thought he was.
We don't even know. That's how bad it was.
I don't even think did he even get to play in the debates at all?
No,
I don't think he even got to play in the debates.
No.
And he spent over a billion, 1.4 billion of his own money.
Yeah, and didn't he only pull Samoa or something?
I've done some really stupid shit with my money in my life. But I'm really happy to say that I don't think I've ever done anything that stupid with my money in my life.
Like,
he's got enough of it. He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Still.
I'm going to drop the grand and be on Idaho's ballot next time.
I will totally vote for you.
Just because.
I totally will. If I end up living in Idaho by the time that comes,
I'll vote for you.
Could you imagine if I won this state just because I'm from here and this is the only place I'll campaign?
That's pretty crazy. Well, you know what though? I mean, I think that would get you something in the future. Like, don't you get like
a New York Times article?
And I can at least put it on.
Here, we're going to interview the guy who only ran in Idaho and won Idaho.
Did you know that I discovered this year?
It would get you good traction for the future.
I could do nothing. If nothing else, I can parlay it into at least more viewers for this show.
Right, sure.
Absolutely.
I discovered
his slogan was "Fuck you, leave me alone."
He's running as an independent, but he's strongly libertarian.
Yeah, very strongly libertarian beliefs.
The lead actor for First Kid, the movie First Kid, ran for president this year.
No shit.
No way.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
The poster now, it would just say like,
I have that on VHS.
And then in parentheses, it would say not. All taxation is theft.
Not quite all taxation.
Not quite all taxation is theft.
Sinbad First Kid.
Yeah, Brock Pierce is the actor.
Really? In what states?
He was on the ballot in 17 states. I'm just guessing.
I think you're being generous.
His campaign ads are all that monkey.
Holy shit! He was an independent candidate in the 2020 United States presidential election.
What's this?
He's old enough. What's the age? Like 38?
He's 40.
35.
35 to run.
That kid is my age.
What's the genie movie? That's the Mandela Effect with Sinbad.
Oh, Shazam.
But
his was different.
Oh my God, that's him!
Wow,
what
great
an
hair, bro.
Looking person.
Shazam is the new movie.
He almost looks like Edward Snowden or something, right?
Yeah, no, he does. He looks like a mix of Edward Snowden and the dude who plays
Julian Assange.
No, Jimmy Simpson.
Yeah, exactly.
The Milk Brothers.
The Milk Brothers, yeah, from fucking Always Sunny.
There's something else. Their name's something
You will
else.
call her. He was on Westworld too. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't figure out how many states he ran in.
There's Kazam, which is
Kazam, which is the
Shaq
Shaquille
one,
O'Neal
the
one.
Shaquille O'Neal one.
What's the
And then there
Sinbad
was
one?
Shazam is what I want to say it was. It's
No.
the Mandela effect one that people.
But
are like
Shazam
convinced
is the
was-
new like Marvel
Yeah, it's-
movie or the
no, it's a
DC movie.
that came out. But yeah, it's search
Sinbad,
Sinbad
Genie
movie.
movie.
Yeah, Shazam. It's a popular internet theory that this was a movie that came out in the 90s. And this is one of the only Mandela effect things that I've ever seen that I really firmly... I fucking saw this movie at Blockbuster.
Did you?
Yes, I swear to God.
I
don't-
want to get on board, but I'm
I
also like, was I
I
just
didn't-
tricked
I
into
didn't-
thinking this because
didn't-
because I'm sold on the poster?
I didn't pay enough attention to the Berenstain Bears thing to know
Right,
which was which, because I didn't really read those books as a kid. But I swear to fucking God, I saw this movie at Blockbuster when I was a kid.
Alex
Fruit-
and I were
many
talking about this the
times.
other
The
night.
Fruit Loop one gets me, and there's one other one.
Fruit Loops.
Yeah, the spelling of the fruit,
Fruit
is
Loops.
different.
FROOT or FR.
UIT. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Berenstain,
FRUITLOOPS. Fruit
Was
Loop?
it?
Nobody knows.
Dude,
Nobody remembers.
I give up.
There's like 6 or
I'm
7
eating
of them.
this steak, and I know that it tastes good.
Fruit Loops?
But
Did the bears stain or
fucking-
stain me? What did the bears do? Zoom in.
Was
the
it really?
Fruity Loopies.
has it really been FROOT my entire life?
There's
and I
a,
just don't.
There's a how-to with John Wilson on HBO.
Yeah.
You should watch that show.
Okay.
I was telling Peter Brill about this when he was on the show last time.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the Human Guides episodes that he did for the podcast that he did his own podcast for.
Yeah.
But there's a Mandela effect segment in one of the episodes. I can't remember which one, but at the end he's going through putting stickers over all the items with the opposite version of what is currently on the shelf. It's great.
See,
Fucking
I have
insane.
my own that is with the name of the phenomenon. And one of them is it's named after Nelson Mandela and whether he died in prison or not.
Yeah.
And the other is the mandala, which is that thing,
That little
They-
thing that you throw
the thing they do with the sand
Yeah.
and then wash away.
yeah.
Yeah.
And and I've got 2 completely different beliefs of what it's called and why it's called that. And one of them is because people can't remember what the thing was that they saw because it at some point it changed and they don't remember if it was that way the whole time or if it was changed before. And I've never been able to find it anywhere being called the Mandela effect. But I totally remember it being that and that being the explanation.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the memory it was changed at some point in their lives, and so they've remembered it being that way the whole time, even though it was obviously changed at some point.
Right.
And that doesn't explain away the Berenstain Stain thing because you don't change the name, the spelling of somebody's fucking name.
Right.
But yeah,
Don't you think, though, like they use Fruit Loops themselves for, as you can. Sorry, I'm really stuck on this now.
Yeah, but Fruit Loops, guys.
they use actual Fruit Loops as the 2 O's in
Yeah.
fruit and in
Yeah,
loops.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Don't you think you would have? Don't you think you would remember that? God, I feel like I'm a crazy person now.
that's the whole
shit.
point of it.
Fuck this.
Yeah, no.
Why did we start talking about this anyway?
It's a
'Cause you
rabbit
brought
hole.
up Kazam.
Yeah, the Kazam, Shazam.
I know I did. It's my fault, but God damn it.
Alex and I were talking about this the other day, and we didn't even bring up the Genie movies. I don't even remember why we were talking about it. We were walking the dog.
And what's funny is I still don't know whether it's Berenstein or Berenstain, like what the actual
I think it's EIN.
is it EIN?
EIN is what I remember.
Or no, I think
I
think it's
know.
actually AI.
I honestly, and I think that's one of the reasons why I have such an easy time being like, yeah, they could have changed it and nobody knows.
And then
I
it's
don't
like,
fucking
but
know
then
what
it's
it
like,
is
who
now.
cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it depends on what your level of care is for that particular thing. Because
How
Berenstain
passionate
Bears
are you
is
about
like,
your
I
children's
don't
literature?
give a fuck. But then the Fruit Loops, like you latched onto that, like
that one matters to
passionately.
Yeah.
That
Like,
one matters
all the way
to you.
down.
I
to your
ate a lot of
balls.
Fruit Loops as a kid, man.
They're delicious.
Toucan Sam was my homie.
And I'd punch the beak right off his
I had a
face
record,
because I want to eat
a
those
record
things.
with
I don't want
Toucan
some
with the
fucking
Toucan
bird stealing that
Sam
shit.
song on it.
What?
There was a record.
Obviously, you're not a fan.
Apparently not. Apparently not. I'm a fucking casual at best, apparently.
You know what my favorite record was when I was a kid? It was the Justice League versus Darkseid. It was like a little radio play, and it was awesome. I mean, Darkseid, Calabac, Desaad, all fighting Batman, the Flash, Wonder Woman, Superman. Like, it was awesome.
I always had a soft spot for Space Ghost Musical Barbecue.
That was good too.
The
Toucan Sam workout.
Yeah, there was you
Fuck
had to
off.
save up like UPCs and shit and send those in for the thing, and it was like my parents. I have to imagine they reluctantly did it because it seems like a huge pain in the ass.
I wouldn't reluctantly.
And I wouldn't have done it. Like
I
as a
wanna
parent now, I'd be like, no.
I want to see this so
But
bad.
then
If
and my
kid
parents didn't
showed
have my
any
parents didn't have a
interest in
record
working
player.
out, I would push them toward it.
Well, it wasn't even the working out part of it. I think there was other stuff.
You just really wanted to fuck that toucan.
But
If
I just
only
wanted
there was,
that-
like,
I
an
wanted that
instructional
fucking-
video that went along with it of somebody in a big.
I wanted
Toucan
that
Sam
record.
outfit
I wanted that record. We didn't have a way to
doing,
play
like,
that
light
record.
Cardio.
We didn't have to play a way to play it. But my dad was an English teacher, so he worked at the high school or the elementary and the high school combined.
Oh, so he was
And
stealing
so he was
box tops
able.
for you.
No, he was able to go.
Man, what a piece of shit.
Way to
Those were
deviate.
for education,
No.
motherfucker. Not for you to get
No.
the
That's
Toucan Sam workout.
I don't think I don't think box tops existed then. those were UPCs.
No, they definitely
that
did not,
was-
yeah.
That was not a thing back then.
Those were
No.
UPCs. No, but he had to bring me to the school
Mandela.
to listen to my record. Did you just call that the Mandela effect
Yeah. Box top.
between the box tops and UPCs?
And UPCs,
Yeah.
yeah. When
I
did
love
one
it.
become the
Dude,
other?
I remember when you had to do stuff like that for the cereals. I remember getting a Power Ranger watch.
Yeah, you had to save shit up.
Yeah. And it was like $3 for shipping, and I had to literally beg my parents
Buy, like,
for those $3.
boxes of peanut butter crunch.
Yeah.
$4 a box.
And
And then you have to figure out a way to come up with the $3 shipping.
I can
So
see
you already
as a
spent
parent,
$300 on the cereal.
like my kids coming up to present anything to me that costs money
Shoplifting down
is
at the
I'm
bodega.
negative about it.
Like, fucking, I just need 6 more box tops. You sons of whores.
I'm with you, Ward, though. I mean, my parents were.
Unless
I had
it's
to
for Grey's
literally
Anatomy, then I'm
Unless it's
Yeah.
for Grey's
just
Anatomy.
pay your self-interest, buddy.
Man.
That was a good lesson, though. I really.
No,
I
I
wrote
agree.
that one down.
That's
I wrote
smart
that one
parenting
down.
right there.
Investing in his
I-
own future.
Yeah.
Oh,
That teaches a valuable
what a
lesson.
terrible future, though. Grey's Anatomy.
Maybe not.
Be a
Maybe not.
doctor.
Or he'll grow up
I'll
and
be the
fuck a
next
doctor.
McSteamy.
I'm not a doctor, but I fuck somebody who plays one on TV. So.
All right. Well, hey, on that note, we better get out of here.
Yeah.
Boy,
That's the episode title.
we have
Oh,
we
this
have
was
rung this
fun.
episode out. Bruno, I hope you want to join us again. This has been
Yeah. Look, this is fun. It's fun hanging out with you guys. And I hope
Yeah.
I can come out and hang out in person one of these days.
Yeah,
would be great.
I absolutely adore
That'd
it,
be awesome.
and I would love to sit in studio with you one of these times if it's ever possible, for sure.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
all right.
Good
So,
show, gentlemen.
listen, this is our first episode
Thank
back.
you again, Bruno, by the way.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I mean, this is
Best
this is
friend
fun.
of the show.
Absolutely. Without a doubt. First episode back of 2021. It's our very first episode of the year. One thing I like for YouTube or for live shows, I'm always like embracing like the whole idea of going to YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, that kind of thing. I think
Yeah.
Periscope's going to Twitter, But if you're listening to the audio versions of the show, we cut these up, tighten them up into like little tighter segments. You can listen to full on episodes of that way, and then I'll actually have like a full untouched episode that'll come out.
An uncircumcised version of the show.
Right. We'll do like a few chunks, and then we'll also do like a fully uncut episode of the show, which will be, I think, fun for the listeners that want that piece of it. But
and
six of you,
if you have the time, I really I know I stump for this a lot, but if you have the time, every other Tuesday at 6 p.m. we're live on YouTube, and I really think that watching along with it as opposed to listening,
it certainly lends to the
really
experience.
It does lend to the experience. It's a lot more engaging. There's more than just the voices there. You can we
leave every show feeling like elated. Like I shoot a load on Hudds' face. I don't have enough to get
wow.
To get Ron taken care of.
Wow.
But I mean,
what?
Maybe don't watch the live show.
That doesn't happen.
Holy cow.
No homo.
Son of a bitch shaves his face and suddenly he's a teenager again.
Yeah, he's brazen.
God dang it.
All right.
Cow.
Well, anyway.
Good night, everyone. On that note.
timespentpoorly.com is the website. Check us out there.
When you said come in the studio, you didn't mean that.
Yeah.
Jesus
Bruno,
Christ.
stay far, far away, my friend.
He can't make it to Jersey.
This took a turn. I don't have the money to make it to Jersey. I spend all my money on ellipticals.
Oh no, I
and
meant
shit.
your shot.
Oh, yeah.
You can't shoot that.
Grey's Anatomy DVDs.
Yeah.
Bootleg Grey's Anatomy DVDs.
Thank you, Bruno. We'll see you guys next time. Timespentpoorly.com. Later.